everybody, and welcome to Hair of the Dogcast, your favorite podcast about beer and video games and beer. Big shout out to David Wise for our brand new theme song for the Dogcast here. You know David Wise is the composer of many wonderful games such as Battletoads and Donkey Kong Country. And yes, he's a friend of the show, and we are so happy to have the new theme song, so thanks, David. And there might be some other surprises coming throughout the month, so look forward to that. Today, we are going to be discussing the news. You guys don't even know the topic yet either.
No, I don't.
Yes.
It's a surprise.
You purposefully did not tell us.
Well, it's because I didn't know until this morning.
That's okay.
Now, this morning I was like, what would be a good 150th topic? And I just decided we're going to talk about our top 10 games on our ranking, which you guys might not even know the ranking.
We went through it last time for Baldur's Gate.
So welcome everyone to the show. Before we get into the news, our featured brewery today is Torch and Crown. This is out of Manhattan. I was at the tap room recently, and
Manhattan in New York.
yeah,
Because there's several Manhattans I found out.
there's a Made in Manhattan.
That's what I heard.
Is that Meg Ryan?
No, that's Jennifer Lopez.
It's embarrassing that you didn't know that.
It's kind of weird.
Thought you were a film guy. You don't even know who's in Made in Manhattan.
I am so sorry that my J-Lo filmography is suffering.
My name is Brad, and I have a Bellaccio addiction.
My name is Dylan, otherwise known as the Soup du Jour, Bucephalus Jones, Johnny Hollandaise, and sometimes Big Tex.
And my name's Tyler, and I was going to say I'm Tyler from the block, but apparently I haven't earned that crown.
No,
Not yet.
Jenny
yet.
still got it.
I got a bigger butt than she does, though.
I doubt it.
Mine's insured for more.
Nope.
No, it can't be.
No, mine's insured for several cases of high life.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which is who you can... if you...
Well, you know, in prison, that'd be worth a lot, but I think J-Lo's butt's still worth more.
I would do very well in prison.
Okay. And we wanted to have the Dogfathers
This
here.
is better than Pruno.
We wanted to try and get the Dogfathers back for this episode. Tom just got back from Oktoberfest yesterday, and he is in he won't be moving for a while.
I got to get him his keys back.
It's the weirdest thing, too. Since he got back, he only speaks in German. I didn't even know he knew German.
No, I think he's just blackout drunk still.
Oh, I thought he had to relearn English.
Well, I'm going to believe he's just blackout.
And Josh is always too busy with work, but I'm wearing my shirt with Tom's face with Dylan art, and we have some Josh glassware today. We're drinking our first beer out of. This is Reset, West Coast Pale Ale. And the brewers wrote on the side that it's pretty tasty. We present Reset, back to basics and damn tasty. It's got a little Nintendo Entertainment System.
I'll be honest with you, it
Reset
smells great.
button. I love West Coast beers. Oh yeah, you want to smell it, Tyler?
No, I'm okay.
Tyler's doing Sober October, so he's watching us today.
Is that like the full thing, just Sober October?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I'm going to drink on Halloween because
That's so good.
why wouldn't you drink on Halloween?
Oh, so you're
Just the
already
right amount
breaking the rules.
Well, I have a really nice costume in mind, and I might be going to a Halloween party, and it's like, if you make it all the way to Halloween, that's good enough for me.
30,
tell us
30
what it
days
is?
is good.
30 days has September, so
Yeah.
April, June, and November. So it's sober for some of the months.
A lot of people choose February because it's the shortest. I'm like, what are you doing, splitting hairs here with the day?
yeah,
I mean, that's for quitters.
Well, let's talk news.
absolutely.
A few things happened this last month, but we're going to start up at the top with the Tokyo Game Show 2024. Took place September 26th through September 29th and saw almost 275,000 attendees. Not a ton of big announcements, but there was one majorly huge presentation, and that is Death Stranding 2.
yeah.
Kojima sent a picture. He took a picture of like the attendees in a line around like multiple blocks. And he just said, sorry. Kojima's the fucking man.
Oh my God. Can we just talk about how long and beautiful that trailer was?
So much. I watched a making of Death Stranding video yesterday.
Yeah.
Like a 20-minute long one. And it was just so interesting to see the behind the scenes process because Kojima was having trouble finding somewhere to get his studio because he wasn't like listed his company yet. So a lot of places like, we're not going to just have anybody. He couldn't find a place to take his studio. And we'll talk. We're going to have another Death Stranding episode at some point. But
of course,
along all of the development process, the people kept telling him, this is a bad idea. Like, we need guns. This is just walking. This is not a good game. And he's like, nope.
Relax.
And the whole like system, it's like, nope, no rewards. It's just about sending likes to people. We don't like the whole thing. Every step along the way, they're trying to tell him this is not a good idea. And Kojima knows what's up.
He's got big dog money. That's for sure.
He does now. He was in a precarious position there for a while.
Yeah. Konami apparently did not pay him well. So he was doing it for the love of the game. Mm-hmm. But now he made one of my favorite video games of all time. Took me a while to get there to play it, but I love that video game so much. And watching that trailer, I put it up and Jordan's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Have I ever shown you Death Stranding?"
It's the future of my life, darling.
It's how I have a Cintas job. That's basically what I said. I'm like, this is the reason I have the job that I do. And it wasn't just for no reason. I wanted to be Sam Porter Bridges so badly. Now I kind of regret it, but whatever. I get paid all right.
It's the second time that he's floored me with a game to that extent. I remember the first time I played Snake Eater, which was my first Metal Gear game.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I had no idea what to expect. And then, you start playing it, and for someone who played like a lot of Grand Theft Auto and sports games, and like I would call it Western video games, like very American video games.
Sure.
Getting into his style of video game, my mind was blown. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden Death Stranding came along, and I know you guys were super high on it. Yeah. And when I finally played it, it is really just walking. And I appreciate the fact that the combat is not the centerpiece of the game.
I almost did zero combat. I'm going to play through it again with like the newer edition.
I have a little bit.
But I love hiking. I love just walking around and experiencing the world, and it's just a vibe game.
I call it precision travel. And there's something interesting because the game is relatively large, but the fulfillment you get out of bringing parcels and goods and like seeing how much you can stack onto yourself through like management and like weight distribution is, I don't know, there's something that just like clicks in my brain, and I'm immediately like, there's a game called Unpacking, which is like, and it's a game where you unpack stuff and then you have to find proper places for each and every one of the items.
Just
and you
very
get scored
zen.
On it.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like right now Jordan is building the last part of this bookcase, and assembling my bookcase and organizing my books feels so good. Like the tedium can be entertaining if you allow it to be.
Yeah.
And I think Death Stranding is buoyed by a fantastic script, which is crazy, but also wonderful imagery and just beauty all around.
We can talk about Death Stranding.
We will.
We will talk about it later as well. But Death Stranding 2, massive presentation. We got to see some of the new characters. We got to see Elle Fanning. I forget
who is not BB.
Not BB.
Which I had predicted.
And turns out BB is not who we thought they were as well either. In the trailer, I think they mentioned like the BB that was matched up with that code number was not this BB.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that we don't understand, and it looks like BB's dead.
Or beached.
Beached,
but still alive.
I didn't know that Kojima was bringing in another director. George Miller is in the film. Or not in the film, he's in the game. So you know how he had
Guillermo del Toro?
George Miller?
No, George Miller like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not George Romero. George
Romero is who I was thinking.
Yep. Mr. Mad Max and Furiosa is a character in the game.
Come on,
And
Happy Feet.
That's no surprise because I think we talked about it in a previous episode. George Miller wanted Kojima to make the Mad Max game.
Yeah,
if he was going to have someone make another Mad Max game, or I think it might have been the 2015 game, he wanted Kojima. He wants another artist.
Yeah.
He said.
Yeah. Saw some new gameplay, some new environments. We learned about the new ship that Fragile is running. What was it called? I forget.
It's something cool.
It's something clever.
It's the drawbridge.
The drawbridge. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the photo mode?
Photo mode, it looks great if you're into that. I'm still not a photo mode guy. I don't need actresses doing funny poses and me take pictures.
Well, halfway through, they shifted from the actual actors to the in-game models to kind of show how like true to life it is, and like the face capture and everything. So I think that's kind of cool because I didn't notice a difference, and I said, "Wait a minute, that one's generated."
Yeah, and cool. We got to see all of our characters returning, and we got to see a few new ones. But particularly cool was the little puppet guy, Dolman.
Oh yeah, interesting shit.
Yeah,
different animation frames.
He calls out Sam at one point when Sam's going to take him along. He puts him on the back. He's like, "Sam, come on the butt."
He's like, "I just didn't think you cared."
And a lot of Troy Baker. Who,
so much Troy Baker.
Dude, he is...
oh, my God.
He's hamming it up in only the way actors can do in a Kojima game.
I know. It's so good.
It's pushing the limits of fun, campy melodrama in a way that works. Just like eyeliner and electric guitar battles.
It's really interesting to me that this game is kind of going further into like anime reality realm. Instead, because the first game is relatively grounded for whatever version of sci-fi you would call that. I would call it blue-collar sci-fi.
Sure. That sounds good.
I mean, that sounds kind of right?
Yeah.
So this one, they're leaning more into like, he's got some concepts he was thinking of, and he wanted to really slam them in there. So I'm anxious to see that.
One line that I think is super important in the trailer is... the rope and the stick. Combat's going to be a bigger thing in this game.
Yeah,
that's because the first game is very much built on the idea of the rope pulling, something that can bring people together. And Kojima, consciously made an effort to avoid the stick in the first game, but this one is going to bring combat back or bring combat to the forefront a little bit more.
Well,
because whenever you kill someone, it creates a giant nuclear blast, essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh man, I couldn't be more excited for Death Stranding 2.
I'm floored. I got horny for it. I won't lie.
Part of me didn't even want to watch it because I know I'm going to play it, but also...
he's not going to reveal anything.
If Kojima wants me to see it, I trust him.
Yeah.
Another game announced at the Tokyo Game Show, which was just... nobody knows what to think of it, and it's very weird, is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
It looks interesting.
Majima, Mr. Eye Patch himself, is a pirate, and I watched the trailer. These are not on real Hawaiian islands. They have like new names, but he has full amnesia and is somehow set modern and also an extreme pirate like culture.
Yeah.
And there's like even like a pirate Kamurocho, like all bright lights, like a pirate den.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It looks more like classic Yakuza,
which is fine.
Yeah. It's not RPG.
That's okay.
But I don't know. I know how you feel about pirates and ships, so it's going to be
important to me.
It could be good.
I like that they're taking a wild swing here. There's so much ludicrousness hidden in the margins of Yakuza games that it's really interesting that they're just letting it all loose.
Let it out, It is a busy franchise. There's a lot going on, including, we watched this trailer last week, Tyler.
Yeah.
The Like a Dragon Amazon series.
Oh boy.
Live action. It looks, as long as they lean into the violence, and I just want it to be very bloody.
It looks good.
Yeah. The dragon animation thing at the end was like, what the hell is this going on? Maybe that's just something they did for the trailer, but
that's
I'm
going to
watch it.
Games. Your auras change. There's like flare. Yeah.
I really liked the trailer.
Same.
It kind of gave me Kung Fu Hustle vibes at some point, with just like Japanese, like a mass amount of Japanese gangs in suits running the streets, having fights. I'm into that.
I can deal.
Cautiously optimistic.
I'll watch it.
It comes out soon, doesn't it?
I think you're right. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll look that up. We'll put that in. It's good to have these things. That way people learn on the show, right?
Informative.
Do you guys need an electrician?
I do need an electrician. Electrician.
Need a electrician.
Mm-hmm. Amazon.
When's it supposed to come out?
The first episode for Like a Dragon Yakuza comes out October 25th, 2024.
Wow.
And it's in Japanese, which I'm fine with. Some people might not like that.
People are dumb.
Yeah.
People are dumb.
People who don't want to read subtitles, you're depriving yourself of like Narcos.
Well, the games stopped translating them into English a while ago.
Games are a little harder for me to play if they're not in English because it's interactive, so I have to see what I'm doing, and I'll oftentimes be looking away from the subtitles when something's said.
Sure.
I've also said the only good argument I've ever heard for dubs over subs is in the Hayao Miyazaki films, where someone mentioned the animation and art is so stunning, looking away from it to go read it all is doing yourself a disservice a little bit.
Well, I would also argue that if you can't read something peripherally, that you can learn that as a skill. That's me growing up with anime, though, so it might be different. But I can watch and read the subtitles all at the same time.
Yeah, that's definitely a learned skill I picked up after film school.
Yeah.
And everyone uses subtitles these days for everything.
I put subtitles on for everything I watch. It doesn't matter because sometimes accents can be confusing. So
try to watch The Vivitch without subtitles.
I know. It's just guttural sounds.
Yeah.
Deep guttural sounds.
Like, I can't understand a fucking word this guy's saying.
I mean, that's how they sounded.
Yeah. There's another trailer that came out recently, the Minecraft trailer.
Oh, boy.
With Jack Black.
People hate it.
Yeah, I don't understand why people hate it.
Jason Momoa has recently been getting bad PR. There's been like stories of him on set being pretty mean to like
co-stars and shit.
Not even co-stars, but like people lower on the totem pole on the film set and being kind of a dick. And this character in the trailer, I don't care for his character. It's weird that it's like live action Minecraft and they have one of the girls from Wednesday. I forget who the other...
Oh, that is her.
Yep. The trailer didn't upset me too much, but I also know this is 100% not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I will watch it when it inevitably shows up on HBO, but...
It's going to make a lot of money.
It's going to be huge.
Yep. Everyone's going to see this movie. I thought Jack Black's Steve at the end of the trailer was pretty annoying.
Well...
Yeah, well, it's just Jack Black being Jack Black, and we just had Jack Black be Jack Black in Borderlands 2.
I mean Borderlands.
Oh, yeah, not 2.
Either way, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
Did you watch Borderlands yet, Dylan?
No, it's not out on video or streaming. I feel like such an old man.
It is on streaming, but
I hear it's coming to
streaming.
VHS soon.
If it's on one that I subscribe to, I will go out of my way to watch it. I'll report back.
In other news, Annapurna, the entire workforce of publisher Annapurna Interactive, resigned following a dispute with owner Megan Ellison. Mm-hmm. Negotiations had been ongoing to spin the gaming arm into an independent entity, but Ellison walked out of those talks, leading to mass resignation.
Yep.
Currently being published by Annapurna is a game we were still excited to see, Morsels, that one trailer. Mm-hmm. That's one that they were publishing a lot of many other games, but yeah. So we love Annapurna, so this is sad.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those cautionary things where workers should have more rights and more control if you really want something to function well. And it just sounds like they were tired of having certain masters, and I agree with them.
Well, it's just I guess just because I'm more of a creative mind, it's always made sense to me that if you're putting out a creative product that requires a lot of people with a lot of hands in it, those people need to love what they do. There's a feeling of passion that you can find in a lot of video games, film, music that puts it above, like head and shoulders above the rest of the competition when it's made with love. Mm-hmm. And you only get there by treating your workforce with a sense of independence and caring and compassion, which a lot of these corporations do not understand. No. And we've seen it time and time again.
Oh, even if they understand, they don't care.
Yes. And we've seen it like many times now where games just come out and it's lacking that it factor. It's just the same recycled garbage with a different coat of paint on it. I look at every Ubisoft game that's been made recently.
That would include Star Wars Outlaws, which has not been selling the way that they wanted.
No, it's selling very poorly.
Yeah.
It only hit 1 million copies finally.
It's almost like it's not a good game.
And I hear...
I haven't played it, so I can't really judge, but when I hear the word Ubisoft, I kind of already know what the video game is going to be.
Well, look at it.
And they're delaying Assassin's Creed Japan, whatever that one was called.
Another one is
Shadows.
look at Rocksteady with the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. You have they crushed the game. They crushed the Batman games time and time again, and people loved them. And then all of a sudden, the suits come in. They're like, do this, change this.
Multiplayer looter shooter.
I'm excited to talk about Concord.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, in a little bit because there's more to it than we thought.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a bummer. AB 2426. New law has been signed in California, known as AB 2426, and will require digital storefronts operating within California to tell its customers that they are licensing goods and not purchasing products.
Right.
So if you get a digital game on your PlayStation store, your Xbox store, and there are times that they get taken down and you can't access them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's because in the fine print, you're not buying the game. You're licensing the product.
Yep.
And California is if it was a country, it's like the 5th largest country for sales for digital video games. So this is a big deal.
It's huge.
And fuck yeah.
That's great. I truly, these practices that we're dealing with now, we as gamers, I guess, if I even wanted to consider myself truly a part of that culture, we grew up, our generation especially, we grew up in the era where you got something on a cart and you owned that game. That was yours. It was like getting like the Doom ROM discs.
Yeah.
And now it's people still want to feel that ownership. They want to put something on their wall and say, this is a part of who I am. I love this. It's a piece of art to me.
And people,
now it's not the case.
People still don't want to talk about NFTs because they're like the big bad. But if NFTs were utilized in a way where you have an NFT associated with your digital game purchase and you could sell that digital game to somebody with that NFT attached to it, that is a way to guarantee your ownership of that product.
Right.
There are ways, but the battle continues. Star Wars Jedi 3 is officially in development at Respawn. Cal Kestis
will make his return.
Will make his return. Just very excited about that.
I hear around the rumor mill that Cal Kestis is going to appear in a live action show.
Don't get me this excited, Dylan. I can't handle being this excited.
The guy already exists, so.
Oh, it's fuck yeah, man.
He might appear in Ahsoka. That's the rumor.
I would watch a Cal Kestis feature film.
He will appear in Ahsoka, probably.
Give him his own series.
I agree.
Give him, or at least his own feature film.
Here's the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is that the third game will probably take place near the fall of the Empire. Ahsoka and all these other live action shows like The Mandalorian and stuff like that, they are taking place about 3 or 4 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So you have kind of a conflict there in terms of storyline.
So you just have to get them there canonically.
Yeah.
Before you can implement them. Well, I mean, you knew this was the end game with him. You have, I always forget the actor's name, and that's terrible.
That's fine. He's great.
He's fantastic, and we've said it time and time again. I know, Dylan, it's yours. It's my favorite
Star Wars thing
ever.
Yeah.
And I am somebody who classically shits on Star Wars.
I shit on Star Wars a lot.
I like the Just Dance version with that Han Solo song.
Solo.
Shout out to our #1 listened to episode of the Dogcast ever, the Han Solo episode.
It's not even one I was on.
I know. That happens a lot, actually. Bigger numbers without Dylan.
Hey, fair enough.
Just kidding.
I get it.
We got another beer here. It's another video game themed beer from Torch and Crown.
Wowee.
It's called Cheat Code, and it's got the famous Konami code. Can you guys name it?
Up, down, left, right, A, B, start.
BA, and then I think it's select start, but they just put enter here. I don't know if they were avoiding any copyright.
It's the same variation.
Was I close?
The unlock all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unlock all guns in Grand Theft Auto 3.
And it goes back to Contra, like back to the NES. But this is a West Coast IPA, and it doesn't have any of the hops listed here. There's a QR code now on the side, so that's where we're at today. But yeah, another West Coast beer. I'm sure it's going to be as amazing as the other one.
It's quite good. It's this is a fall beer if I've ever had one. It's crisp like an autumn day.
I prefer the first one a little bit. This has like a little bit of like hop burn flavor.
I like the hop burn.
Yeah, you do. You bring a lot of those beers.
Yeah.
And the last bit of news before we get into some console stuff, Tetsuya Nomura. Big fan, Dylan?
No.
What?
Some
of his character designs are good.
Yes. I agree with his character design work.
He's done some really good games in the past.
Yes. He's a bad scriptwriter, and he should not have full control over any video games because he makes them worse.
Tetsuya Nomura recently stated that he only has a few years left until retirement.
Bullshit.
Kojima will not be finishing Kingdom Hearts potentially, so look forward to that.
Nomura.
It looks like Nomura will not be finishing.
It's true.
The Kingdom Hearts games potentially.
I would like to see it in the hands of somebody else. That might be okay.
Kojima
with Kingdom Hearts. Oh boy, that's a game I would buy day one.
Donald Stranding. Yeah.
Should I do my Donald voice?
No, we're good. Let's get into some console critters. I know PlayStation had a pretty big state of play.
Yeah. So Astrobot is out. Apparently, it's not selling incredibly well, but it is, by everybody who's played it, a very good game. Brad lent me his copy. I've yet to play it.
You haven't played it yet?
No.
Do yourself a favor.
It's short.
I've seen my roommate Devin play it, and he fucking loved it.
It's great.
Man, those that smart vibrate controller, all that sound, it is the best. The best part of the PlayStation's whole this generation of consoles is the controller.
Yeah, it adds everything.
It was the first thing.
It's half the game to me.
I know.
It was the first thing you showed me when you got your PlayStation 5. You're like, check this out. And you booted up Astrobot. You're like, just take the controller. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Yep. He did the same to me.
And this game is creative and so fun.
Extremely solid platforming.
And PlayStation has found its mascot, I believe.
I believe so.
Yes.
It's getting additional speedrun levels with online leaderboards and 10 bots for free. And the limited gameplay that I've seen outside of the trailer, just watching my roommate play, the speedruns for this thing are going to be fucking gnarly.
I'm super excited to watch them.
Yeah.
And the online leaderboards for these speedrun levels are great too, just because it's nice having everything in one location. You don't have to take videos, go to speedrun.com, put your scores up.
It makes me excited for GDQ because, you know, they're going to have Astrobot speedrunners at some point somewhere.
I imagine next GDQ there will be an Astrobot speedrun, if not the one afterwards, because a cute platformer with a lot of fun movement that's just what you want for a speedrun.
Yep. And I have a friend that's going to be living in the area, so next time they come to Minneapolis, I'll have somewhere to stay for free.
Nice.
You mean we'll have somewhere to stay for free?
I chose my words carefully there. Nier Automata and Stellar Blade. I have yet to play Stellar Blade, but
I have played it.
I recently saw some gameplay footage that made me change my mind a little bit.
It's pretty horny, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get what you give.
It's like subtly, it's more about the male gaze than anything. So that's the only way it's really horny. Otherwise, they take themselves pretty seriously for the most part.
Okay. Yeah. Well, another game is having a little crossover moment with it, so that's fun. Nier Automata.
That'll be cool. I have not played either of those.
Oh boy.
Yikers.
I mean, there's just so many games.
Nier Automata was the first. I think we're talking about it later.
We are.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
It's fine.
Oh boy. Fantasian Neo Dimension. Originally on Apple Arcade, is coming to consoles.
That's the Hironobu Sakaguchi Apple Arcade RPG. And
I have played it all the way through.
You did.
I played it on my iPad.
Yeah, he's got an iPad.
Xbox controller.
I think Phil played it and was mentioning in the Discord as well.
It's a beautiful game. I think it's actually pretty good with using your hand, which is something
I'm very good at that.
It is one of the most beautiful, and I've got like a nice iPad Pro, so it's pretty big, and so I was just moving along in the world, and I thought that game fucking ruled. And he keeps saying like this is like my like great ender, and I'm like, you haven't really evolved because you've played Lost Odyssey, right?
Yep.
This has a lot in common with Lost Odyssey. A little bit of Blue Dragon, but also he tried up a few new things like curving your attacks that do certain things to create more damage and yada yada.
Otherwise, he's the king of the turn-based RPG.
I don't think I think he's outdated in his gaming philosophies, but I still think what I played was extremely solid. So I can't really seeing it on another platform is going to be weird, and I wouldn't buy it because I have it.
It's got new visuals. It's updated. If it comes to Game Pass or something, I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to be playing Death Stranding again anyway, so I'll do that first.
The biggest thing from State of Play, I didn't get to watch it live because I was at work, but I got a text from Devin, and it was just dude. And I couldn't see the thumbnail or anything on my phone. So I was like, what? Did I fucking forget to do the dishes or something? I was like, what did I do?
And then he uploaded it to YouTube.
And then I opened
Did your dog eat his PlayStation?
I was like, yeah, what did Frank do? Did I poop on his bed again? Like, what's going on?
You guys drink hard.
And then it was just the trailer for Ghost of Yotai, which is the new the sequel to
Yotai.
Yotai. I'm not expected to pronounce anything correctly.
That's why we want you to try.
They didn't say the word Yotai in the trailer.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Yes, with a female protagonist. Set.
No.
Where's my pitchfork?
Oh, no.
Why is it a lady? She could be hotter.
Yeah.
Why is she a lady and where are her tits?
Oh, why is she wearing a full robe? She has boobs, right?
Why is she a hunter in medieval Japan?
I want to be a white man or a naked woman.
They're supposed to be harvesting rice fields.
Yes, there's been.
I guess it's not a driving simulator.
There has been a little bit of pushback from some not open-minded incels across the world.
You mean dipshits?
Oh, man. Society today sucks.
Yeah.
Why?
If you're not down with a female protagonist,
get fucked.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. It's a fucking video game that's telling a story. Just get over yourself and enjoy it. You know it's going to be a good game because Sucker Punch knocked it out of the park with the first one.
Yeah, they did.
They debuted an amazing trailer that is going on the PS5 Pro. Is probably they got high hopes for the graphics and the scenery, which was a huge part of the first game.
Well, did you play the PS5 upgrade of Ghost of Tsushima?
Yes, I did.
Which is awesome looking.
Yes.
This announcement is the straw that's breaking the camel's back for me. I'm going to play Tsushima now.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, and then they're also talking like we have plans for this as a franchise.
That's good.
They definitely need to because they struck gold with the first one. I did not expect to like it as much as I did because I didn't know anything about the developer at the time. I didn't know anything about the game.
An open world that's interesting? How strange.
Sign me up. But I was blown away by the game. It is so cinematic.
Oh, God.
I remember booting it up the first time when you pull out your sword and that little cutscene with the glow. I was like, yes, please. I've played it twice. I played it once the first time in English, and then I played it the second time in Japanese. I did the black and white.
The Kurosawa mode.
Yeah. It's not as cool in black and white, but I appreciated it.
Can you switch it on and off?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's all I need. I'll check it out then.
I felt like I was playing Seven Samurais. It was pretty awesome.
So yeah, don't lock me into a decision. If I can switch between back and forth, that's better.
Well, Sucker Punch, if you had ever played in the third Infamous game specifically, you could tell they were heading in this direction. They were tired of making like the bro-y games.
Yeah, because what did they do before?
Before Infamous? Not a lot.
It was Infamous.
They did Infamous,
okay.
yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was them or not.
They did 3 Infamous games.
Yeah, I liked the Infamous for what they were.
The first one is kind of boring. The second one is a lot more fun. But that third one, Second Son, which is stupid as a title because it's the third game, that game rocks.
Yeah, that's the one I think I've played the most.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a remaster on PS5 for Halloween for a $10 upgrade.
I support $10 upgrades to games that you purchase in the PS4.
And
that's fine.
I don't need to go back. Forbidden West had like improvements on so much of what the combat was.
Rarely has a game so effectively been washed from my brain the moment I put the controller down.
Oh.
I remember Aloy. Yeah. I remember the map a little bit. I remember shooting fun arrows. And I don't remember a ton else. It's a deep future, like after the collapse, a post-apocalyptic
1,000 years after AI attempted to take over.
And Lance Reddick is wonderful.
Yeah.
unfortunately, I have tried to play Horizon Zero Dawn twice, and I've never completed it. I always get open world fatigue and boredom throughout the game.
Oh, you would hate Forbidden West.
Yeah,
it's way too big.
It's a franchise that I desperately want to play because I want to play Forbidden West, and I've tried to play the first one twice, and it didn't click for me.
Yeah. Forbidden West is such an improvement over the first, they've got some hiccups. It's a weird sophomore album to what they're doing, but I have full trust that the third one will be probably the masterpiece.
Well, now, if only they had a Lego version of the game.
They do.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
What?
Yeah. So which
looks weird. It's a choice. Listen, I have the tall neck from Horizon. I have the Lego tall neck, and I think it's great. I think it's a wonderful build, and I think it all stemmed from that because that thing sold buku.
It just looks
under
great.
Lego. So I'm kind of like, all right, but I'm not going to play. Lego games are always entertaining to me at first. And then when I'm actually playing them for a little while, I'm like, this sucks. This is really for people dumber than me. And I just completely blank out and I'm just like, okay, bye.
almost like children. Like they're for children.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus is getting some new games added.
Well, you know.
Added in September was Ben 10, Under the Waves.
Yes, Ben 10.
Finally. I thought it was Benio. It's 10?
Ben 10, yeah.
Oh.
Do you know what Ben 10 is?
It's a kid.
Yeah, what does he do?
He has a watch that gives him superpowers where he can jump over buildings and also be late for school.
That's, well, kind of right.
Damn. Good for me.
He does have the watch.
He transforms into aliens.
So I was right.
My cousin
yeah.
really liked Ben 10 when I was growing up, and it was after I got out of. I've loved cartoons my entire life. I've seen all of Ben 10. I can tell you, it's pretty good. It's no Rugrats, which is getting a new movie apparently.
Unless it's the original creators, I don't care.
What if it's CG, but it looks like the original Klasky Kasupo? Like,
That Klasky Kasupo animation was so good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
imagine if it's 3D and they all kind of have that weird, fucked up look to them.
That Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Why did Rugrats fuck so hard? Like, they got the Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo to do the theme song. Like,
I know.
Yeah. Dude,
It's a crazy show.
it was my favorite growing up.
Yeah.
Under the Waves, which I have never heard of,
No.
but I might try it. Who knows? Night in the Woods, which was a game that I think I had.
I played that, yeah.
Is that the survival game?
No, it's the 2D, mostly storytelling narrative game about a little black cat who moves back to her hometown.
Not what I was thinking.
Okay.
Chernobylite.
No.
I'm
I have no idea.
A whole lot of nothing there.
It's
The title makes me snore.
If they did Lego Chernobyl based on the TV show, maybe.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It's just you killing dogs. And then they burst into 1,000 like little Lego pieces.
Every time you go visit your husband in the hospital, he has less Legos.
Yay! Yay! 150! Yay!
There's a game called Wildcard Football, which I saw yesterday.
What, is it good?
I
don't know.
didn't download it, but it caught my eye, and I'm gonna do further research and I'll get back to you.
Okay, you're the sporto.
I don't know what it's gonna be like, but I may or may not have downloaded it last night because sports games, my kryptonite. Space Engineers and Road 96.
I don't know. Oh, I know Road 96.
These are 7 games that could be at the top of a list called games I do not care about.
Yes.
Well, maybe what about the classics? The
Pistol Whip,
the
VR.
PlayStation. Well, because there's PSVR 1, 2, and 3 are the classics, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You get Pistol Whip VR. I got super hot, and I don't have a VR.
Yeah.
Secret
Pistol-
Agent Clark.
Secret Agent Clark.
Oh boy.
That sounds like a Chevy Chase film or something.
Yeah, it does.
Sky Gunner.
Oh boy.
And Mr. Mosquito.
I like Mr. Mosquito. That's a fun game.
I should maybe check that out then.
That's a fun game.
It's no Wild Woody, but it is good.
It's where you're basically like, there's like this whole story. It's like Chibi Robo-esque. And what you do is you fly around and you have to like, you have to get blood from them. And you're trying not to wake people up and you're trying not to get killed. But you're living in this household. It's kind of rad.
A
lot of character.
The name makes me think it's going to...
Wait, is this free?
These are the ones on the PlayStation Spartacus Plus
I'll
Premium.
download Mr. Mosquito tonight.
Yeah.
It sounds like something that should be associated with Earthworm Jim.
Yeah. No, he's cuter than Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, Earthworm, that dude's fugly. That dude's got some problems.
You should see him on the N64. It's a game someone bought for me once, and I was like, this should be great.
I still remember the magazine ad, 2D or not 2D. It was Earthworm Jim holding a skull, and that was the coolest thing from the whole game. Was that magazine print ad.
And then Doom and Doom 2 Enhanced. I also saw this on the store the other night when I was perusing.
Yeah, we talked about those Doom upgrades last Dogcast. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Online multiplayer, let's go.
Yeah. The PS5 Pro is coming. For $700, you get no disc tray, which is, I don't like the way that Sony's been kind of tackling this generation overall. And
their domination is giving them a lot of hubris.
It's giving me
huge. They have sold double the consoles of the Xbox.
I'm not a fan of their business practices, and I don't know if it's because of the post-pandemic or pandemic launch. It was pandemic launch.
Yeah, it was.
It was the scalpers,
heat of pandemic,
the difficulty getting the consoles. Yeah. I don't know if that left a sour taste in my mouth, but everything they're doing, it kind of gives me Apple vibes.
Yeah.
Where you are making necessities for your console that should be included, especially at the price tag for $700 fucking dollars. You're not going to include a disc tray.
It is
knowing that people probably bought the PlayStation 5 Gen 1 with a disc tray because they have physical media.
Yeah, I have been flirting with the idea of getting the PS5 Pro.
I want to get it. I will get it.
Because I've also heard GameStop's trade-in price for your PlayStation 5 is pretty wicked. It's like 95% new price or something. They'll pay you. They'll give you a lot of money for them right now because they're still hard to get.
Yeah.
I haven't bought the ball yet. I'd get the disc drive, though, which is under $80.
Yeah, and I don't like
which you can just plug in.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
The upgrades, though, are pretty nice.
Yeah, you get an upgraded GPU, a GPU that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 console and 28% faster memory. Overall, this enables up to 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, man. When things are popping and not loading in, that faster rendering time would be nice.
Yeah, and I see it with Elden Ring. Things don't pop in until you're riding up on them sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've switched my from performance mode to the other mode that I can't remember. And
visual.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to help at all. I have noticed that with my PlayStation 5, rendering has become more and more of an issue as games are coming out.
Right.
And it Elden Ring wasn't always that way. It probably happened after one of the patches or something. I don't know. It gets advanced ray tracing. They've added even more powerful ray tracing that provides more dynamic reflection and refraction of light. This allows the rays to be cast at double and times triple the speeds of the current PS5 console, that is probably what I'm most excited for. I like all the hardware. I like the console running smoother. But if you make my games more visually appealing, something like The Last of Us, which is incredible from cutscene to gameplay, or God of War, where those transitions are almost seamless, this is really going to enhance the realism of the game. AI-driven upscaling.
This is weird. This is cool.
They introduced PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, an AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning-based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail.
Providing the best legal way to play Bloodborne.
Well, he's not kidding.
Truly, though.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you're somehow playing on your PC, because I've seen those as well, and they look great, but I want 60 frames per second. I want sharper clarity Bloodborne, and give it to me.
And have you had issues with with either of your PlayStations not operating at 60 frames per second?
So I've got a Slim. I've got one of the technically newer models, and my shit's fine.
Yeah.
I got a refurbished model because mine had the CE-108255-1 because I remember that fucking code still.
That. Yeah.
And mine didn't work for the first 2 months I had it, and I had to send it in. So I don't know what my warranty information looks like that now. Maybe GameStop wouldn't even accept it as a turn-in being a refurbished.
I don't know because
it's a brand new one, and they didn't want to help me until I used class action lawsuit on the phone.
Oh yeah,
Those words are like, we're going to send you a new one.
yeah. It's one of those things where I waited and I had to wait because literally I couldn't get one for a very long time, and I got it 2 years after it came out. Yeah. So I don't know. My shit works perfect. It works better than my Xbox does, frankly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The PlayStation 5 Pro Performance and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as Brad was just mentioning.
Yeah, this is a good article.
Digital Foundry's John Linneman revealed that he had played Rebirth on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and he says that the difference is night and day. He goes on to say that Rebirth on a regular PlayStation 5 has some of the worst image quality of this generation. Now, this is a game that I haven't played yet.
I highly disagree.
I agree.
Really? You agree?
I thought the game looked like absolute shit in that first chapter.
Oh, the first chapter, yeah.
It's whenever you're in a busy city, like the assets look bad. Some of you'll be in a cutscene and there's like the most low res background stuff that are like in the forefront.
Yeah. Truth be told, I guess I'm a fucking hypocrite.
Always.
Yeah, it's fine. I admit to it.
But you're Johnny Hollandaise, dude. That's what you're about.
I keep having dreams where I have new names. It's really
I like Johnny Hollandaise.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You don't like Bucephalus Jones?
Is Hollandaise used on other foods other than because I just think
sometimes they put it on steaks and stuff.
Isn't it on a beef Wellington?
And like a salmon, like an eggs Benedict?
I guess you could, but I wouldn't put that on a beef Wellington.
What does Gordon Ramsay put on his beef Wellington?
I watched a video of him.
Isn't it
his last meals?
We're getting closer and closer to a food podcast.
Honestly.
No, always. Like, we can't stop ourselves.
I know. I don't know. All I know is that my name was in one of my dreams, there was a guy I met and he was extremely magical and his name was Bucephalus Jones. And I said, that rules.
Jones.
That's the name of Alexander the Great's horse. I did not know that until I looked it up the next day.
The PlayStation 30th anniversary celebration has begun. On September 26th, Sony started pre-orders for its 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 hardware collection.
Everyone wear your special hats.
Pre-orders quickly sold out.
What is that joke?
I don't know. It sounds like the celebration has begun.
Okay.
I was like, everyone wear your special hats.
Put on your party attire.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's something somebody says in a cult at the beginning of an Ari Aster film or something.
Yes. Yeah, perfect.
Pre-orders quickly sold out, and some people were told to wait in online queues for over an hour to no result. This is flashbacks to when I tried to buy my PlayStation 5 at launch.
I successfully got the PlayStation 5 DualSense with the PlayStation 1 theming.
Nice, that's cool.
$80. It was tough to pre-order. I was long driving at work, and I was sitting in the passenger seat. And I got one, but they are on eBay for $150. People are selling their pre-sales already.
Jesus.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, yeah. PlayStation is at least trying to do something about it because they can't keep releasing shit like this.
I know.
Yeah, because it's just like it's ruining. It's definitely ruining this generation. It's getting a stigma that like you have to beat the scalpers in order to get anything from Sony nowadays.
Yeah.
Scalping has been running rampant. So to curb this in Japan, you can only pre-order with a PSN account, and that has been active for at least 30 hours in the past 10 years, which I think is not strict enough. That is way too easy. You can create a PSN account, and a day and a half later?
Well, it's some sort of measure. Whereas, like at least like those AI-driven computer stuff,
they can't do it. Yeah,
the ones that could like do 100 buys at one, like in a second, if they don't have an account to each of them. But also, there are people that buy PlayStation 5s that don't have accounts.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It's a good measure. I don't know if it's going to be the end all be all, but it is a good measure.
It's a step in the right direction, but still, I don't think it's doing enough. Scalping is a plague.
As somebody who's been selling a lot of his childhood on eBay recently, I'm getting better at seeing trends. Like, I know the Elden Ring Volume 3 strategy guide will sell out, and they won't reprint it, and if a sealed one will go double in value. So I bought 3 of them. I'm just going to resell 2 of them.
That's fine.
That's not as scalpy as like the PlayStation people, but
no.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's if there were somehow a limited edition of Elden Ring and you were keeping that from people itself, that would be kind of shitty. But
they're trying to do discounts on their Mesmer statues because they couldn't sell them all. Turns out a DLC doesn't need its own limited statue.
The big cool statue, though.
Yeah. 18 inches of Mesmer.
There were some firmware updates.
This is some sketchy shit.
Yeah, a firmware update happened last week and was causing promotional news posts to play while you browsed your library. I did not encounter this.
Getting live ads on your homepage in your PlayStation.
But I did see it on Reddit, and I don't like it. Keep ads away. Stop it. What are you doing?
Keep your ads
Now, keep in mind, you're just renting these consoles, apparently.
You're just licensing this product.
For $500, you get to rent it for the amount of time it takes to make the new one.
And make sure you get to see the new Zachary Quinto Evil Doctor TV show on Tubi.
I would love that.
See, and I've gotten to a point now where if I get an invasive ad of any sort, whatever it is advertising, I will avoid because of the sheer frustration and just ad fatigue. It's everywhere.
I'll tell you what. I get a lot of Buffalo Wild Wings ads for reasons I cannot tell you.
That is odd.
It might be because I go to Buffalo Wild Wings for my job to like get them like new towels, and shit. And don't eat at a Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm just saying this out loud. Their kitchens are nasty.
Better than Chuck E. Cheese?
I worked at
Chuck E. Cheese actually has a very clean
we have another beer
kitchen
from Torch and Crown Brewing. This is their Maibach called Bloom.
Ooh,
beautiful can.
Lovely.
These pink flowers all over the front.
Those look like orchids.
Yeah. Cheers, Dylan.
Cheers.
And digital cheers to Tyler.
Yay.
We're licensing this flavor to you.
Dylan just cheers my empty monster can. So naturally, this caused an uproar, and PlayStation fixed it ASAP. But the scary thing is, it does seem like this is an idea that they were flirting with because it did happen.
If it's a bug but still happened.
These things don't just happen. You don't just get ads like this. This must have been something that they were thinking about implementing, and someone might have accidentally pulled the trigger.
It's so
early
sneaky. It's kind of rotten.
It is. It's disgusting.
This is the kind of thing where they do it once a little bit, and it just kind of let the outrage slowly subside over time before they fully integrate it. It's a sack of shit.
Yeah. Fuck you, Sony. That was rude.
That's from the Sony guy.
Yeah. As you can tell, I'm a little sour on Sony as of late. Concord.
Oh, yeah.
Ever heard of it?
The grapefruit, yeah.
Let's go, dude. Those are the best grapes in town, dude.
Hell yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
How much does a Concord run for at Pick and Save or
that game? They can't even sell those games now.
Because
the Pick and Save checkout line, they have Concord games.
Yeah, they put them in with the grapes.
Yeah, I wish. Buy a pound of grapes, get a Concord.
That's funny. I might just buy stockpiles of the Concord game and give them to people for Christmas.
I don't know if you can play it offline.
No, but that would be the joke. I'm basically giving you trash.
We should get a... I'm hoping to buy a house next year, and I'm going to have a dedicated LAN basement I want to get with old TVs. Mm-hmm. If we can local area network some Concord, maybe we'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So Concord was a very, very... very expensive blunder for Sony.
Way more than you'd think.
Yes. Ex-IGN reporter Colin Moriarty.
Clearly, you've never watched Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, is that Moriarty? I don't know.
Colin Moriarty is also an infamous prick, so...
reported that he had recently spoken to a developer on the bomb Concord and claims that the game cost approximately $400 million, making it the most expensive PlayStation first-party project ever. Full stop, real quick.
I love it.
That's
so good.
when you have this genre of game that is free to play with dedicated fan bases, and you're going to sell your copy for $40, new IP that people don't know, with an art style that is trash.
There ain't no Boba Fett in here. This is Guardians of the Galaxy sea level.
Mm-hmm. What were you thinking, putting this much faith into something that nobody wanted?
Oh, man.
I don't even know who the studio is.
Non-existent. Now.
Pretty soon, yeah.
Internally, it was referred to as the future of PlayStation, comparing it to Star Wars. Again, what are they drinking at HQ? This is such a bad idea, and it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Firewalk Studios.
Firewalk. Yes. What are you doing?
Well,
they got high on their own supply.
I doubt this was fully their fault.
I'm sure most of them were just hardworking individuals who tried to make a good game.
I'm not going to blame the artists on this. Usually this crap happens because someone higher up has an idea. And higher ups rarely have good ideas, let me tell you.
Well, you're probably right, because the development culture was described as toxic positivity. Gross. And I've worked in some toxic negative environments.
That negative out of here. Concord's the best game ever made.
You cannot. It was a turd that they slapped a code
best
paint
24
on.
hours of my life.
Did you play it?
No.
Oh.
I'm just pretending I did.
Again, with Overwatch and...
Dude, I got a Concord tattoo. I was so excited for it. I thought
you got the green. Did you get the green guy?
I got
like the lady?
I got the orange Michael Rooker looking dude.
Oh, nice, very good.
It amazes me that anybody with two brain cells to rub together thought that this would be the future of Sony, or that this game would even be a tiny success. You are charged. It's 100% more expensive to play this game than established titles in the genre. You're going toe to toe with Overwatch. Overwatch has been around, it's solidified, and it's fucking free to play.
It took a dive after Overwatch too.
But Overwatch has people like Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks who play it. There are big name people who still play Overwatch and there's people that stream it that still get a lot of views.
Well, I'm sure who's a what's-its from the Seattle Pinkertons.
I heard Tommy Seasalt plays it.
Oh yeah,
Tommy Seasalt.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I just think this is
Stefan Seasalt might be better.
Sometimes I just go by Tony.
Tony Rigatoni.
Tony
Rigatoni.
I'm Tony like Mario.
What's the matter with you?
I get that Concord out of you. What are you doing, huh?
People don't realize that I've been watching Sopranos for the first time, so I'll be out in public with Carly and just look at her and go, "What the fuck's the matter with you?" And I'm just doing a bit, okay? I'm not yelling at my wife.
I got called out at work for doing hand gestures like an Italian, like 2 months ago.
You are Italian, though.
I am Italian, but I don't have anybody in my family around me that's like a super 100% Italian, like some other people that I know.
You're not smoking over a pot of spaghetti.
Your body hair is of normal size.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got called
I might
out
have
on
more
it.
body hair.
I do a lot of this. I'm doing the...
Why do you do that?
I don't know, but like... If I have a good day at work and I'm like, the shift lead comes in, they're like, "Hey, all right, what do you need? I'm going to go home." I'm like, "Nah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it." I do a lot of this. Put my hands together and point at people.
I think PlayStation would like, with Concord, for people to forget about it.
They do need to forget about it.
It's a huge blunder. I don't really understand.
$400 million. Well, they thought this was the new thing. They thought this was going to be the biggest thing on PlayStation consoles.
At one point, sure. I just don't know what else there is to say about this aside from the fact it was named poorly, it looks like ass, and I really don't understand. People are so desperate for this live service model that I am deeply, deeply confused.
Can we hear from a good console?
Ninfrendo's here.
Yeah.
We
could use an Infrendo.
Yeah.
So we have some additions. We have to its online services. We have Mario Party 1 through 3 for the N64. Battletoads Double Dragon for the SNES. We've got Big Run, a racing game I've never heard of. Cosmo Gang, The Puzzle.
Anytime they add like a game I've never heard of on the NES, I do check it out and get excited about it. Because if they decided this game we want to feature on the NES little digital library, I'll check it out.
It's fine. Yeah. I'll try it out. We've got, I'll do it in my best Japanese voice. Kunio-kun no dodgeball dayo zenin shugo.
Dodgeball.
Yeah, Dodgeball for NES, which is a good game. I actually like that one.
And Kunio, he's a character from
River City Ransom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. We've also got some Switch 2 leaks. Supposedly, the design, photos, and specs have appeared online on a Chinese forum. I have seen these.
Yeah, it looks a lot like a
It's
Switch.
just going to be a Switch.
There's like a couple different features.
Yeah.
But it looks almost the exact same.
Slightly larger with rounded Joy-Cons, an additional button below the home button, and magnetic attachment rails. Very interesting, which is better than the pure snapping because those break. We've got the specs. We're running 12 gigs of RAM, HDMI 2.1 supports, and 256 gigabyte internal storage. Bigger games, not big enough.
Not big enough.
Nope. Digital Foundry has said this one seems more credible as why would someone go to bother for faking a main board?
Yeah. So the specs included like everything, the leaked specs. So for it to be a fake, there would be way too much work behind it.
And the pictures of it, have you seen them?
Yeah, there's a YouTuber that actually 3D printed the whole thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
As long as it's new Switch, I'm down to clown.
I have a feeling that the highest edition, like the highest grade version of the Switch 2 is going to have like the capabilities of a PS4 Pro.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. As long as the games are good.
Thing. Yeah.
But don't try and port
good luck third
games
party.
that don't belong on there.
Good luck third-party games.
Yeah.
Of now. Yeah, a YouTuber did 3D print them. I did not see this.
Yeah.
It seems interesting, though. Rounder, easier to store, maybe. A little more slick. I saw that there are... But the buttons, like the triggers, are kind of repositioned now so that it's actually like holding a Game Boy more.
Yeah.
Smart. Then we have this, which is so stupid, I could cry.
Johnny Hollandaise with the tears.
Nintendo filed a patent infringement lawsuit against Palworld. Very funny. They chose till now when they released on the PlayStation 5.
I get it. I mean... It is kind of a ripoff of Pokemon.
Yeah, but Pokemon was a ripoff of Dragon Quest.
But no, some of these designs are like, this is Lucario, this is Mewtwo, this is...
No. Have you seen the comparison
I'm doing devil's advocate here.
Have you seen the comparison graph of like Zubat in basically everything?
Yeah, but I don't know. I saw some, like an article showing like how exact some of them are.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
I don't think they have a leg to stand on here.
I don't know. This is just Nintendo throwing their weight.
And I think Palworld will be fine. Generally speaking.
Palworld, from what I hear, is a fine game that's kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
And
it's fun. I like it.
All Nintendo is doing is guaranteeing that everyone's going to check it out.
They seek compensation for damages. Listen, you are one of the highest selling properties in the entire world. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
Pikachu's going to be okay.
I played Palworld. I did not like it.
Yeah.
I would rather play Pokemon.
Yeah.
That is
They're
my entire
different games.
experience with Palworld.
Palworld would have been the most forgettable blend into the background, except it still keeps getting in the news because of Nintendo.
Yeah. I got it day one. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But whatever. We've got Echoes of Wisdom that just came out, which I really want to play.
You haven't played it yet.
I don't want to break out my duster for my Switch.
Okay.
I have not played Echoes of Wisdom, no.
They got these really neat Swiffer ones now that are really tiny.
Oh.
And you could just, it's two passes, you'd be good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if the damn thing works.
It works. It gets dust just fine.
It was released on September 26th. It's getting good reviews.
Yeah. I talked to my buddy Luigi, and he says he's loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to play it. I just have no desire at this moment. We'll talk about what we played, but...
It's interesting that there's been some articles recently revealing that it was originally being designed as like a Super Zelda maker, and they just kind of leaned into making a single-player experience out of it more, like making a story mode, and I'm into it. I haven't played it yet, but I have a feeling I will like this game more than the Link's Awakening remake.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's in the same art style and everything, though, which is kind of cool.
Chad Xbox here to try and rationalize how great it is to love the worst console of this generation. I love Game Pass. Speaking of Game Pass, added in Xbox in September, we got Star Trucker, Age of Mythology Retold.
Star Trucker that I wish you saw.
Oh, my God.
Outer Space, Mr. Know It. Oh.
That just popped in my head.
Expeditions, a Mud Runner game.
Oh, good. Yay.
This is going to fall into the like weird simulator games that are probably going to be fine.
I can almost promise you that Mud Runner game would be entertaining for a while.
Yeah.
I got family members in Arkansas like, yeehaw, boy, let's get in that corner and get in the mud. It's going to be great.
You guys
Then they go, what's the internet?
Does this run on dial-up? Well,
How bad's the noisy thing going to be when I dial this up?
My wife needs the phone later. Can I play this?
I played it, and I had a Jeep that ran on moonshine.
We got Riders Republic, Train Sim World 5.
Riders Republic is supposed to be all right.
Train Sim World 5.
Now
What?
Tyler's in.
Okay, there's a game.
Game Pass has got the best sim games.
Okay, I fucking love a good sim.
Yeah.
And
well, because it's actually
conducting's
teaching you.
good.
It's like the same reason you like Gran Turismo. It's an amazing sim.
Yeah.
Shit, that is just a sim game.
I wasn't into Farming Simulator, but Lawn Mowing Simulator, oh, chef's kiss. But there's a game on the mobile.
He doesn't like growing crops. He likes destroying them.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a game on the.
Do you know that when you
phones.
mow the lawn, it smells great because it's like the grass's signal to the other grass that there's a mass slaughter happening?
It's the
Screaming
beginning of the
thing.
happening,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's great.
That would explain
bees.
why every time I mow my lawn, Mark Wahlberg shows up and just yells things at me from across the street.
Say hi to your mother for me, right?
Well, he thinks you're Asian, so.
You're a dog, huh? That's crazy.
But this game excites me because there's a game that I played the fuck out of on every car trip for probably the last decade, and it's called Pocket Trains.
Oh.
And you just build railroads between cities, and it's just so fucking fun.
Yeah.
And if this is a bigger version of that, oh my God.
Damn.
We got War Groove 2. Now, I'm not sure if this is a war game or a dancing game.
It's an Advance Wars clone. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Frostpunk 2.
I love Frostpunk.
I've always wanted to play Frostpunk.
good.
It always gets pushed off to the back burner.
And Ara History Untold.
Ugh.
Whatever the heck you are.
People need to come up with better titles for shit because a lot of the Concorde,
Concord's a really bad name.
Concord's bad.
it's the name of a failed jet plane. It's the name of grapes.
Grapes.
It's like, what are you?
In the war room when they were coming up with the game? They're like, "All right, hear me out, boys. We're gonna call it Concord because grapes are round, planets are round. This takes place on another planet.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's
wow,
great.
now I completely changed my mind.
That's great.
That's grape.
Coming soon to Game Pass in October, Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Is that the newest one?
I think it's a remake or something. I don't know.
If it's cross-platform, that would be nice because my
Black Ops 6 is a new one.
great.
if it's cross-platform, I will
I'd rather
enjoy
play
this.
Concord.
My brother sold his PlayStation 5 to my other brother, and he loved. I used to play Call of Duty with him all the time. Mm-hmm. And if it's cross-platform, I can play with him because I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay for another Call of Duty.
No, I won't either.
But chilling out with my bro playing some Call of Duty, yeah.
I love the story modes in those games.
Somewhat.
Depending on, they're usually like a fine little 7-8 hour jaunt.
I only play the ones with Kevin Spacey in them.
That's most.
That's one.
Yeah,
I think maybe two.
It's Advanced Warfare.
you're a
don't
big
like
Kevin Spacey fan, huh? Yeah.
I just remember that because it came out when I was like super like, I was just like, man, they got all these actors in games now.
They got Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
This will age well. Mad Streets. And Inscription is also coming in October.
Nice.
So if you haven't played Inscription, it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
100%.
Agreed. Yeah.
November, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 or 2025. The next one. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 Campaign Edition.
Okay.
And December is still Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Which I'm kind of excited to play because it's free.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
I have a lot of other friends that are very excited about it too. So I'll check it out. I love Indiana Jones. I liked the 5th movie.
I did too.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Way too long of a car chase sequence, but that's my only complaint.
I would cut out 20 minutes in the middle, but I love where it goes.
Yeah, I do too.
Some news here for Xbox. There were more jobs cut from Microsoft. Phil Spencer confirmed on September 12th that the Microsoft gaming division would be cutting 650 jobs across mostly corporate and supporting functions. According to a source at GameFile, the majority of the cuts are related to the Activision Blizzard. So this is bad.
Not good.
If you're into families getting food on the table, this is bad for you. Xbox sales. Utilizing data from Eldora Intelligence compiled from the Wall Street Journal, we can see a clearer picture of the state of this generation's console sales. Microsoft are generally pretty tight-lipped about their console sales because they're not as good. And PlayStation is very fine saying how many consoles they sold. Using this, though, it's reported that Microsoft has shipped about 28.3 million units of Xbox Series X and S. PlayStation 5 has sold 61.7 million units.
Fuck it.
And that's why the PlayStation 5 can do a $700 digital-only console, because they own the market right now.
Yep.
Look, I also have to add to Spartacus, they released the adapter for the PlayStation VR to put into the computer. It is supposedly not very good. There's probably going to be a second iteration. Keep your hearts and minds open, because my wife would desperately love to play Skyrim on VR.
Oh, I also forgot something about the PlayStation Pro. It doesn't even come with a stand. You have to buy the stand separately.
None of them ever have.
No, they do.
No, PlayStation
Really?
5 came with a stand.
No shit.
You don't think about it because it's just this stupid
It
little
should
thing
be
that sits
included.
under there.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't lock in either, so it always feels like it's sitting wrong.
It's too precarious. I would never deal.
We have animals.
I know.
We can't have a
No, I
PlayStation
know.
5 sitting up. It's like 10 feet tall.
My dog has a tail like a whip.
If you bump this table, it would knock a PlayStation 5 over.
And especially the bottoms where it's slick.
Plus,
Because it looks like an idiot designed it.
It looks dumb. I remember you and I were drunk walking back to my house one time, and there was some like white car outside, and you're like, "Man, the PlayStation 5 looks weird."
It looks like
And that's one of my favorite hollandaise jokes I've ever done.
it looks like the PlayStation 5 looks like if you took a router and,
probably a key
and
or
mixed
something,
it with
yeah.
a vagina.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You've seen a lot of bad
I
videos.
just
once
spit on
you
our
see-
Madame Web poster, Tyler.
I'm telling you, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I guess. I don't really think of it that way. It's more platonic for me.
You have the slim though. I'm talking about the first.
I went to art school. I'm used to seeing vagina.
Last bit of news here in the Halo world, because Halo is some of the only news Xbox gets unless it's bad sales or lawsuits. Lillian Lehman, senior business manager at Microsoft and former Halo business manager.
What type of terms is she going to explain this to us in?
Halo. Halo. It's in layman terms.
High five.
It's in
That was a good one.
It's in layman terms. Halo is a $10 billion franchise for Microsoft, and that includes games and various other forms of income for the legendary Xbox series. So yeah, Microsoft has made like $10 billion on owning Halo.
Sure.
Over $1.8 billion has been spent on merchandise alone, was recently revealed. The 25th anniversary plans for the Halo franchise and the OG Xbox are underway. That's coming up 2026.
Okay.
So, yeah, big anniversary coming for Xbox. Something exciting. A canceled Halo game has recently had a prototype made available online. This canceled project, codenamed Hagar, would have been a third-person Halo game set in the Mega Bloks universe. Mega Bloks Halo.
Damn.
An early.
Oh, no.
It looks fun. It does look cool.
Okay.
It looks more gameplay focused instead of cutesy Lego focus. Like it is a third person shooter.
You've seen like the Mega Bloks Halo. They're actually decent models.
Yeah.
And I used to peruse them at Toys R Us when they still existed.
And they dropped down on sales because no one was buying Mega Bloks.
Those ones actually sold okay. And I think that's why this was greenlit. So I watched them, and if you're a huge Halo fan, then you might have gone for that.
An early prototype build of the game, not the entire game, but like a couple of levels, are available on PC using the emulator Xenia, thanks to a group of individuals known as Spark, Itchy7, and Zophie. Check out the video if nothing else. It is cool to see. I like it when canceled games or leaked prototypes happen and you can see that iceberg tip is something I appreciate. And that's Chad Xbox. It could have been worse.
Did you hear what Todd Howard said about Starfield? Because the Starfield expansion came out.
Yeah.
What did he say? We're proud of this game. It's better than people say it is.
So people at Bethesda, I forget the dude's name, said it's the best game that Bethesda's ever made. It's not even the best game.
Oh, the lead designer said that.
Yep.
Congratulations, buddy.
When I say a joke that doesn't get a laugh, I'm like, that was the best joke that I've ever written.
And
it doesn't make it better.
The DLC has gotten mostly negative reviews on Steam. One of the positive reviews was, if you have insomnia and need to work in the morning, this game is perfect. But then someone asked, I think they asked Todd Howard what they've learned from Starfield. And his response... and
People want Elder Scrolls 6.
Yes. That the fans really want Elder Scrolls 6, which means you've learned nothing, and you're going to make... I think the magic for Bethesda's gone. I have not enjoyed a game that they've made in a hot minute.
We'll see what Elder Scrolls 6 does. They're going to be putting all of their weight and effort behind that, and, I mean...
Maybe I'll see it before I die.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that they won't try and cut any corners on that one because they know their reputation is on the line. If they botch this one... They like Fallout. They've already kind of fucked over. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
make an Elder Scrolls Amazon TV show that sounds better than a new game.
Oh my gosh, that would be gangbusters.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Cast some beautiful young new actress.
Can get Walton Goggins again.
Just have him play
Ella
everyone.
Purnell.
just have Goggins play everybody.
Ella Purnell needs work.
Get some Florence Pugh in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
An actor
and Benedict Cumberbatch as Thalmor. Have him be like,
oh, that'd be so good.
He's already got that dick-headed face, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
he's very elf-like.
I love him.
Yeah, me too.
What have you guys been playing?
Oh boy. So I recently needed a game that was short, simple, and to the point. So I beat Stick of Truth, the South Park game.
Oh, that's a good game.
Yeah, for the first time.
I like Stick of Truth a lot.
Yeah, I played Fractured Butthole first, thinking that it was the first one.
Oh.
I read a post on Reddit, like, which one should you play first? And someone's like, play Fractured Butthole first. So I was like, oh, okay. Don't do that.
No. Yeah, they were told they weren't allowed to have Butthole be in the title. And that's why they had to be the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
Don't tell Matt Stone and Trey Parker they can't do something.
They will find a way. I've been playing...
They're doing a new like movie or musical with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Which should be interesting.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
You love Kendrick.
Those are three people that I would love to work together.
Yeah.
He's my favorite music poet.
As far as people that diss cast members of Degrassi, he's my favorite.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Drake, so this just makes me like him even more.
Never liked Drake.
I prefer Full Dragons, am I right?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't like when they're mostly just wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need some arms in there.
Yeah.
It was a fun little game. I really enjoyed it. I think I prefer the combat from Fractured Butthole more with the square system and the zone area of attack versus the Stick of Truth got a little, once you figure out how to beat everything really well, it got really repetitive.
Stick of Truth is actually, so Trey Parker and Matt Stone have listed Earthbound amongst their favorite games they've ever played. And it actually inspired them to make South Park to begin with.
Dude, I'd love it if they made an Earthbound TV show. Or
So
like a one-off, like, hour-long movie.
Like claymation. I would love that.
Yeah. Could they get
as long as someone, I don't know. They listed that as their inspiration. And South Park, The Stick of Truth is very much an Earthbound game.
I prefer Stick of Truth to Fractured Butthole, but
Same.
they're both very good. They're both very funny and well written.
Sure.
And canon in South Park too. It's interesting when the show would make references back to the games.
Yeah. No, I love those two South Park games. It's unfortunate that the third one is not being well received, and I was told not to play it.
Oh, that's not the third in like a trilogy. That was made by like a different company, Snow Day or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a meaningless cash grab one. There's like Star Wars or like South Park Racing or something.
Yeah.
If you want a great South Park game that you might not have played or heard of, Xbox Live Arcade has a tower defense game that is amazing. Best tower defense game. It's a South Park one. I forget the name of it. And of course, Chef's Love Shack. We used to have on the PS1, but that one's not that good. But
No, it's not.
I played it a million times.
Sure you did.
Yeah, I've been playing that. I got the Dead Rising remaster, and I played through that. That was a really fun jaunt down nostalgia lane. They upgraded the controls so it's not as clunky as it used to be. I remember that game being kind of difficult to control on the 360 when I first played it.
It's an early 360 game.
Yeah, it was revolutionary for me having the timer, because you get dropped off on the roof of the mall, and the helicopter dude is like, "I will be back in 72 hours. Be here or get left behind." And having the countdown the entire time with different quests with different time limits, so you kind of have to countdown. You have to manage, like, do I have time to go save that person, or do I risk not getting to the next major story beat on the other side of the mall? That was a lot of fun. It's a fine game. It's not as good as I remember, but I had a good time playing it through. And then other than that, I got WWE 2K24 for free on the PlayStation Store. It's one of the included games of the month.
So you've been dipping your toes, huh?
I haven't played a wrestling game since college. They came out with a really good one that had like a history mode where you could play through the different eras. And that was a lot of fun. So then I booted this one up, and largely it's a good hunk of dog shit. But it's good. There's a GM mode that's kind of reminiscent of SmackDown versus Raw 2008.
So are you the pallbearer guy?
No, you can be Paul Heyman though if you want.
Yeah.
But essentially you
see the guy with the ponytail that's bald?
Yeah, the former owner of ECW.
Don't like him.
He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. WWE's coming back in a big way since the Vince McMahon scandal and Triple H and Stephanie taking over. They just had a pay-per-view last night that apparently went pretty well.
Have you watched the Vince McMahon documentary?
I did. I watched the whole thing. I don't think they were harsh enough on him. But the interesting thing with
if you've read any of what the accusations are,
I read all of it.
If you've read what has been proven against him, there's nothing that can be harsh enough.
Yes,
this dude deserves to never get a penny from wrestling ever again.
The text message exchange is with his alleged sex trafficking is some of the most heinous shit
absolute
I have ever read in my life.
Monster.
And I'm not talking about like descriptions of what was done. I'm talking his text messages, allegedly, to the victims are some of the most disgusting shit I have ever read in my life. It made me blush.
Friend of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, Vince McMahon.
But
yep.
The documentary, it's weird because
the Venn diagram gets a little bit more
and
eclipsed.
Fuck Hulk Hogan too. Jesse Ventura recently revealed he was trying to get wrestling unionized, and Hulk Hogan went and told Vince and put the kibosh on that before anything could happen.
And that was early enough in the WWE's run that it could have happened because they weren't huge yet. There were still territories to be conquered, and they could have fell. But the documentary is interesting because the majority of it is recorded in 2021 or 22, and the allegations came out before they finished it, so they halted production. But knowing what he's done, there are things that he says that you can now. It seems like he's alluding or purposely sidestepping or framing a narrative. And there's also these tongue-in-cheek moments, like Hulk Hogan says, well, I could tell you a lot of stories about Vince.
Well, yeah.
But I can't. And they're like, well, tell us when you can't. And he just goes, I can't. And it's little moments like that when they start comparing Vince McMahon to the Vince McMahon character on the show. They ask Vince, how much of the character Vince McMahon is real versus the real Vince McMahon? And he's like, oh, absolutely nothing. It's all an act. And then they ask wrestlers, how much is real? And the majority of them are like, oh, that's Vince. Yeah, that's 100% Vince.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've seen Hulk Hogan's dong, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, me too.
It's a gross one.
But the game is largely dog shit. The GM mode another little bit of nostalgia for me on a game that I used to play the shit out of.
We have another beer from Torch and Crown Brewing. This is the Black Tie. It is a porter, and I bought a 4-pack of this, which is the only one I brought. A full 4-pack back.
It's very good.
It says, hop on your next Zoom meeting and have a beer. You can get away with a lot more if you're well-dressed.
Drink it out of a coffee cup. That's a life hack for you.
Delicious porter. I love a porter.
It makes you look like you're non-alcoholic. Yeah. It's excellent.
Myself, I got Balatro on the mobile phone. I got the app.
You have a problem.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's an issue,
It's so good mobile. There's minor gripes. Sometimes it's hard to close the app if it's open and you want to just like go to your mail or something, the swipe to get it closed doesn't work well.
Oh.
And only a couple times have I made accidentally made the wrong choice, like where I was trying to do something and it did not what I thought it was going to when I pulled a card, moved it around. It's great. It's really good.
How much is it?
$10.
Worth it.
I have gotten my $10 out of it, and it is the perfect little mobile game if you can handle an addiction, which I can't.
No.
Besides that, Final Fantasy 12, I am head over heels. This is easily my favorite Final Fantasy game. The art style, the world, the characters, the interactions, the mature storytelling. It's just it hits the right tone and the atmosphere. I love the gambits. I love everything about it. I'm probably 18 hours in, and I think Act 1 was flawless. Act 2 is a little longer in the tooth, but all of that being said, Zodiac Age is just chef's kiss for me right now. I knew I was going to love it, and I love it more than I thought I was going to.
That's good.
Yep. You play video games, Dylan?
Often. Not as much these days. So I got into the Gunpla hobby.
Oh, we're going to talk about your model making?
No.
Oh, I thought that was I don't know what Gunpla is.
Gunpla is the model making. Yes.
Okay.
And
that's why you're playing.
There
less
is a
games.
game that was recently released called Gundam Breaker 4, and it's all about the model building.
You're the Gundam guy, dude.
I've become.
Yeah.
I am become. There's
the gun friendo.
there's a nostalgia to this, and also I've really just enjoyed building these things. So there's a game where you can kind of loot and fight. It's like a hack and slash with some other elements involved, and you break parts off of these Gundams, and they have different ratings, they have different power levels, kind of like a Borderlands almost. And I've been playing this, and for some reason it's been my go-to game. I don't know how to explain it. It's not particularly deep, but there's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah.
And you can build little models, and you can change the colors of everything. You can adjust where you put them. You can cut off certain parts and attach it in different ways. And then that adds to the gameplay. So it's just encouraging you to really just get good at whatever the hell this is. And I've been having a great time. The story seems like dog shit. I don't know any of the characters' names because I press skip.
You're such a harsh critic on things. I love it when it's like
Trash Game just shows up for me.
Well, it's when it's a trash game, but it's like a franchise or something that you're into, so you forgive the trash game. It's like when I was playing Dragon Ball Kakarot. And you're like, why the fuck are you playing this? I'm like, honestly, it's just good to see Krillin again.
Yeah, it's like my friends are here. Yeah,
It sucks, but it's Krillin.
Yeah, it's how I feel about it, and it's one of those games where I don't have to think too hard, where I can pop it in early in the morning and just be like, all right, this is what I'm doing for a little while. Then maybe I'll build some part of my model, maybe get 2 of the arms done, and then I'll pop back into the game if I've got time. But otherwise, I haven't been playing a lot. I've been doing some racing. That always feels good. It's always something I'm into. But otherwise, nothing is like biting at me. There are a few games coming up that I would really like to play.
You should check out Final Fantasy 12.
I have to. I know I do.
November. We're going to do it in November. Okay. So you got a little over a month. I should say we're doing it in 2 weeks so you actually start.
Yeah, that would make me do it. Here's
We're doing it in 2 weeks.
So there's a game coming out that is a Persona-like.
Metaphor. Yeah, the demo's out.
I have not touched it.
I don't think I need to.
I don't want to.
I've heard enough good things about it. I don't.
Metaphor.
Fantasio.
Yeah, Correctamundo.
Yep.
And I'm excited to play this. I want to. And I might get, this week alone, Silent Hill 2.
Oh, I forgot that came out.
Yeah.
It's coming out in 2 days.
Reviews have been good.
Of this. And it's getting some pretty glowing reviews, which gives me enough confidence to go for it. And then Metaphor Refantasio comes out on Friday. So I might have my shit all lined up for a little while.
After you play Final Fantasy 12, dude, you can jump right into those games.
Yes, I know. I've listen, I've spent a lot of money this weekend. At first, I was worried about that dock strike, so I got a lot of groceries.
Sure. There was like another toilet paper shortage coming.
Oh, I didn't need toilet paper. A lot of that's made in America.
I know.
Which
is why people freaking out.
It's fine. It's stupid.
But now it's an artificial
I researched
demand.
Well, I researched all the items that I was getting from other countries, which was actually very interesting for me personally as a consumer.
Get your bananas now, buddy.
Well, now it's fine. The strike's over.
What about Concord grapes?
Oh, man.
There's a $400 million loss for the big grape.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to freeze these grapes.
Yeah. You can get a copy of Concord for cheaper than Concord grapes.
Dylan, do you have a garage full of Concord grapes right now? Because you thought people were going to be spending a lot on them.
No. How did you get access to my camera? No. No. But honestly, it's been very difficult to get into video games for the moment. Sometimes you have those ebbs and flows. I'm in full spooky season mode. So I'm hoping
season.
Well, I'm hoping that Silent Hill 2 will kind of like give me that kind of craving that I have. So I will be honest, I think the game looks visually stunning, but I've seen a lot of gameplay where the game does not look all that good. So I'm going to play it no matter what. But for the first time in a long time, I haven't played 12 games.
That's okay, Dylan. You play a lot of games. Well, let's get into our main topic. I figured,
which you are springing on us as of right now.
Well, it's one I didn't really want to do a lot of research on, and I thought it should be something fun that we just all want to talk about and don't have to do any extra legwork on. And if you've been following the show, after we cover a game in earnest, mostly on Raw Dogs, we'll rank it. Mm-hmm. And I think we have like 77 games currently ranked.
Christ almighty.
So if you're interested in any of these, check out the Raw Dogs. There's probably an episode on all of these, and there are even some have multiple episodes. And so we're just going to go 10 through first. Now, this isn't our own personal top 10 lists. This is
democratic.
Even there would be other games that would crack this top 10 if we covered them, perhaps. But so far, for what we've talked about as a podcast, these are our top 10 games.
Okay.
And we'll vibe on them a little bit.
I have no idea what the top 10 are. I can't remember.
You haven't played all of them.
I guarantee that.
Number 10, Hollow Knight.
Lovely.
I've played like 20 minutes of Hollow Knight.
You, my friend, should play some Hollow Knight.
You would love Hollow Knight.
My mom likes Hollow Knight. I watched my mom play it for a bit.
Dude, your mom is sick. Yeah. I'm going to marry her too. I'm going to be a bigamist.
I want you to be...
And I'm going to become your stepdad.
I do want this to happen.
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah. Jordan would let me. It would be kind of more platonic.
This would become a family podcast.
I think the only thing standing in your way is my current stepdad.
She can be a bigamist
he's
too.
Scrappy.
Okay.
He's scrappy.
Well, listen, it would be platonic, but it would be more or less... I could get her on my insurance.
So Hollow Knight,
I've got really good insurance.
So Hollow Knight, though, Silk Song's never coming.
It is. It's coming. Shut up.
Hollow Knight,
bad man.
I remember when I played Hollow Knight the first time,
and I told you
I didn't like it for the first like 5 hours, and that's because I was only playing mobile or not mobile. I was playing like portable on the Switch, and then I played it on the big screen with like the music fully bumping. You need to do that. It is integral to the experience. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It is
so good.
Those like main themes are just so haunting and lonely and desolate. It's probably the best Metroidvania I've ever played.
It's up there for me.
The tightest design for Metroidvania as far as how the world opens up. The gatekeeping where there's like initially one path and then there's two paths and then there's 6 paths, but then eventually you kind of have to do everything to get to certain like end game stuff. Such a joy.
The knight feels very good to play as. He's got a good kinetic sense of motion. It takes you a minute to get used to it because you have your down attack, which is a bounce, much like Scrooge McDuck or like Shovel Knight, essentially.
I prefer Scrooge McDuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is a way that you can get so good at that game and you can dodge and weave an immense amount of attacks coming at you. Like the final boss. Yeah. Like I beat it and I was like, I shouldn't have been able to do that. But I knew how well this character moved at that point.
It's challenging.
Yeah.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which was number 11 or 12. Not a challenging game.
No.
Rarely do I ever die in those games.
You can level up as much as you want.
There's one boss. I forget his name. He's down in the old city.
He's like the dung eater. Yeah.
Not the dung eater. The dung eater's great though too. The dung beetle guy. He's great. But there's like one first like a boss that is like a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh shit. This isn't just like a fun light Metroidvania. This is also, if you take it light, if you take it for granted, you're gonna get spanked.
You'll get punished.
And that's when it kind of clicked to me, like it's got some Souls-like mechanics in it.
Yes.
And give me difficult boss patterns. I think that's one. Not only is it a great Metroidvania, but just the combat is.
What's the name of that giant soul guy in the tower? He's like the bigger one, and he floats around. And he's got like a cloak.
That's the guy I'm talking about.
He's up top.
Oh, okay, that's a different one.
Oh, he's in a tower on the lower level.
He's in a tower in the city.
Yes.
This
a lot of
combat
homing attacks.
Combat is so good.
Oh my god, sick as shit.
And difficult exploration, exciting. It's fun. It's well designed too, where you're in different areas of the map, and just like the light coloring or the background enemies, it cues you in very quickly to where you are. I love the DLC.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't complete was there is a boss rush mode where you have to defeat every single boss in the game. And I will not fuck with that.
No. I have a hard enough time on regular difficulty.
I love this game.
It's wonderful. I considered at one point on my index finger, getting a 1-for-1 size scale of the nail.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good tattoo.
That's a good tattoo.
Yeah. I still might.
Play Hollow Knight, Tyler.
I might
get Hornet's Needle on the other one if it ever comes out.
Number 9, one of the older, not the older entries, but one of the earlier games in our podcast series, Persona 5.
Wonderful game.
Now,
I am 0 for 2 on this list.
I want to put an asterisk on this because there is also a little note that I'd say Dylan prefers 3
Persona
and 4 more.
I prefer 4.
Prefers 4 more.
I think 3 is very flawed. I think it's interesting. However, 4 was my video game for a very long time.
I love Persona 5.
It's great.
That whole like getting into the flow of like the calendar, getting into the flow of, all right, I have a day and I had to go to school and I had an exam.
Now I'm going to the batting cages.
I have to do something with the day. Yeah. Ryuji wanted to hang out or Takamaki-san. And I'm like, well, I know who I'm choosing. Lady Anne. Good RPG, too.
Fantastic.
Very classic RPG.
It's also kind of a dumbed-down Shin Megami Tensei. That's kind of what Persona is. It's a less complicated version of a very complex system. So it's very easy to get into. And what's cool about this one over the other ones is that the social aspects of this are far and away what makes this special and unique. If they didn't have this, it might be a little boring. Because if you know the flow of battle and you understand on each floor the weaknesses of your enemies, you can breeze by and you can get everything done very, very quickly.
And you have to collect. How do you collect the spirits of the monsters you fight? I forget.
They approach you after defeat.
You can spare them and have a negotiation with them.
Yep.
So, and all of the enemies, I think almost all of them are based on world religions.
Yep.
I knew that much.
It's awesome.
They're all Shin Megami Tensei enemies. They're all kind of recycled throughout the entire series.
But those Shin Megami Tensei enemies
cool.
are also recycled ideas of world religions, which as somebody who appreciates, like Joseph Campbell or just like looking at things from a distance, I love it. Now, Tyler, do you know about do you remember the name of the penis monster on the chariot?
It is, I do kind of recall. It is,
wow.
That's an enemy.
Wow.
And you can also recruit.
Is it
That's
Balf?
phallic.
It's Mara.
Mara. Okay.
Dude, I mean, you know what you're looking at there. It's a penis screaming at you riding a chariot with spikes on it.
Yeah, it's very in your face. No doubt about it.
Characters are fun. It's a great cast.
Yeah. I didn't play Royal, so I didn't get the new girl. I found her boring looking.
Who was your romance? Did you like? I could.
Makoto.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're a Makoto.
I like a strong, confident woman,
and she's from Wisconsin as well.
Well, honestly, my wife is a lot like Makoto, so this all kind of works out.
I could also see you as like the teacher who is like cleans your apartment.
Teacher, yeah. I mean, that would just be a fetish thing. I was going more for like who I'd actually pick.
There's been a lot of games recently that like give you a slice of life in Japan, and it actually does kind of transport you there because you learn about different areas, different cultures. Like Kamurocho is a real place, and I don't know, it's great when you learn about the different districts in Persona, and it's just a fun story. And I love the way it bifurcates like fun time, like relaxation time, what you want to do, back cages, go to the bathhouse, and also we're going in tonight.
Yeah.
Which is very fun because you have to choose to go into like a teacher's dream of what he is. And it's just like a gym teacher who's like sexually abusing girls. And you have to go in and he's like the king of the dream. It's some wild shit.
It's about justice. It's about taking people down. It's about feeling imprisoned in your daily life and trying to find ways out of that. The themes are really nice.
And I remember Dylan going, he's like, yeah, this is bullshit. In Persona 5, they shoot themselves in the head to go into the dream
Persona
world.
3.
Or Persona 3. I'm like,
that's how they summon their personas.
Whoa, they just shoot themselves in the head. That's very My Chemical Romance of them.
My Chemical Romance was famously very in Persona 3 when they were making the Black Parade.
In Persona 4, they put on glasses.
Makes them smarter.
They can see past the lies.
Should we go to number 8, another game Tyler hasn't played?
Well,
yes, let's do it.
Nier Automata.
Negativitavo,
now,
my man.
Tyler, you did join the podcast at what? Raw Dog 75 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, and that was like Dogcast 110. Mm-hmm. So, you have some games you can catch up on. Nier Automata, Dylan, you made me play this game, right?
I did, yeah. I had to.
Because you had played it before.
Mm-hmm. And it was very important to me emotionally, spiritually, and I said, if we're going to do this together, you need to play this because I'm like, I don't often go so hard to bat for things in general. There are things I'll say I like, and sometimes I will say it might not be your cup of tea. But knowing Brad, we had obviously talked enough at that point. We were literally on a podcast together. I was like, we got to play this because it's important.
What style of game is it?
I know, right?
Yeah, because
exactly.
You nailed it.
Sweet.
You nailed it.
Love it.
It's like an existential dread type game.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. It's
the nature of humanity and the realization that everything falls and fails.
Is it going to make robots more screaming or less cynical?
It's going to make you more, hopefully, cynical.
Okay.
Maybe more appreciative.
Yeah.
Nihilistic.
For once in your fucking life.
The game straight up did not work for me like the first 6 or 7 hours. The gameplay isn't amazing.
No.
The bullet hell sequences are great.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Just again, it's like what really sets a game off for me. It comes down to tone and it comes down to ideas.
Right.
And that's why this game, despite not having the greatest gameplay, I think about all the time still.
I often have the soundtrack stuck in my head.
Oh, yeah. Become as gods.
Yeah.
And just like that light bing, I can't even. I won't try. But 26 endings?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One of the endings is you have like chips where you can like customize yourself. So you get this upgrade chip to allow you to do
your RAM, your memory.
So you can like upgrade your guns. You can upgrade this. And then one of the chips you start off with is like motherboard. And if you remove the chip, it just goes game over. Which is no shit. It's really fun. Yeah. Yoko Taro is a truly unique creator.
He's a madman.
And no one makes games exactly like him. He encourages people to make Rule 34 fan art of all of his characters and send it to him.
And masturbate to it.
He has his own computer file, folder with all of people's Rule 34 artwork of his characters. Weird thing to say why this game is great. I'm just trying to illustrate Yoko Taro is a madman.
The characters are extremely sexy, to be completely fair.
I have a soft spot for this game because I know like our first Patreon supporter, Ryan. We love you, Ryan. And he posts about the Nier anime all the time.
I still have to watch it.
I do too.
I've been avoiding it because I'm afraid of being disappointed. He says it's really good. I did recommend a new anime to him recently, and he said he's going to do it. So in exchange, I'm going to do Nier Automata.
I'm sure you're going to fall in love within 10 minutes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll be like, it's my friends. They're back.
Yeah, it's rooted in philosophy.
Yeah. It's about what it means to be a human being. It's about what it means to have consciousness and be aware of things rather than some puppet. It's a lot about control in general. I think the first time I beat it, I cried. Pretty sure. Because there's such a defining moment at the end where I was like, these are just human beings dealing with something that is completely unsolvable as a person living out in the world.
Quit giving me chills, dude. Come on.
But it's true.
When there's a few moments that stick out, when you think you've beaten the game and then all of a sudden you're playing as a robot, just hopping around, trying to I think you're just trying to wake up your dead friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, this shit's the most poignant thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then when you have Pascal, the decision with Pascal.
No.
And there's no good decision.
I got shivers too.
We won't say anything more about that game, but you should definitely go play it. Number 7, a game Tyler has played.
Hey.
Oh,
Pokemon Red/Blue.
nice.
This is probably the most gamey game we got on here.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I wanted to set a mood.
You succeeded.
Tell us about Pokemon, Tyler.
Pokemon was an obsession for me. Starting in about kindergarten, I got really into the card game. I didn't really know that there was a video game until I went to my uncle's house in Arkansas, and he had Pokemon Stadium on the N64.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy.
So you were only using rental mons for a while?
Yeah. And then
Gross. They have the worst moves.
when I found out
Loser. Fucking idiot.
when I found out
Gengar doesn't even know Shadow Ball. He only knows fucking other things.
it was a rough life for a bit, but then I discovered that there was the Game Boy version of the game, and that was life changing.
Oh, so good.
Pokemon
Tasty sweet.
It's a game that I mean, depending on whatever iteration of it, I always fall back into it for at least 2 or 3 weeks a year, and I get really into it, and it's a fun game. Cornerstone childhood memories revolved around this game.
Dylan, to the left of Game Master Classified, there's the official Pokemon handbook, little blue book. Can you grab that?
With the number.
To the left of it?
Yep.
Right there. Yes, this is the official Pokemon handbook. I bought this used on eBay, but it's just these Pokemon, man. Those original 151, I had all the heights and weights memorized from that book.
That's insane.
In 5th grade, they said I was no longer allowed to read that in class.
I had the Pokedex. Remember when they came out with the Pokedex?
Yeah,
I had one. I was
one.
the only kid at school that had one.
And you showed it off and never actually used it.
I used it quite a bit.
Okay.
We used to play pretend Pokemon where we'd run around and pretend to
so it
catch
was
them.
mostly a tool, or like a prop.
Yeah.
I had a friend in 4th grade, and we would run around actually pretending to be the Pokemon.
Can you believe that Marshall never called us back?
Yes, we bought. What do we got on there? We have a phone number. It's actually Marshall's dad's
business
office.
Yeah,
we won't read the phone
I
number,
won't say
but
the
it's
phone number.
Marshall's.
Marshall Perona. We called it live. Well, not live. Well, live for us.
We wanted to say we found your Pokemon book, but yeah,
never got back to us. It's a shame.
it scratches the itch of collecting and collecting things that for some reason I really care about. These fun little monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something with RPGs, and I'm experiencing this very heavily in Final Fantasy 12 right now. Mm-hmm. Seeing your team grow and they level up or learn new abilities, it just feels really good.
Yeah, it's the same concept when I play college football, which is another game that I've been playing a lot. You draft a freshman quarterback, and he's like, your quarterback gets injured one game, and you got to put the freshman in. He does, and then
Can one of them shoot lightning?
No, but one of them can throw a football really far.
Can they carry me across oceans?
No, but I get the idea of watching your team upgrade because sports games, that's all that is.
Right.
Is you're just trying to become a better team.
Do their stats get better over the season?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how well you play, too. But just looking at this handbook here, it is just the most 90s thing ever.
I thought 151 was like the highest number on the face of the planet.
Oh, yeah.
When I was that age, and now seeing that there are over 1,000 Pokemon now,
but
is just... It's insane.
The design for the first 150 is just...
Again, I do have to reiterate that these are all ripoffs of Dragon Quest monsters. They are literally taken one for one in various ways from Dragon Quest creatures. They're visually distinct enough to get away with it, but I do have to say that there are like fire horses. Abra is definitely in fucking Dragon Quest. So, but this game...
A fire horse? Ponyta?
Yeah, well, there's one in like Dragon Quest. Like when the thing they're suing Palworld for is exactly the same thing that Dragon Quest could have done at Square. They just chose not to because they understand what this shit actually is.
And fuck Digimon.
Oh no, let's not do that.
Digital Monsters. Digimon.
No.
Let's not do that.
No.
Digimon was cool.
I was
like
a huge
Digimon.
Digimon
Yeah,
guy.
Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I played all those card games as a kid.
I mean,
I was more into the card games than the actual like game for Pokemon.
sure.
Until I got I don't know if it was me, but we got Pokemon cards banned in elementary school, and I was playing kids for like pink slips, and I was pretty good. Oh shit!
All right. Whoa, Jesus
That's
Christ!
a lot of
this
Pokemon
is-
cards.
This is for basketball, right? You know,
Those are my original Pokemon cards.
Oh,
Plus, there's newer ones in there, too.
yeah, there are. Why do you have so many of these?
I don't get rid of things.
Oh, Kangaskhan was my first card.
Yes, we love Pokemon.
Yes.
I haven't played any of the new ones. I haven't played anything past Gold and Silver.
Violet was the one Dylan lent me. I still have your Violet, by the way. It's in my Switch.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
We have one final beer from Torch and Crown. This is called King Elizabeth. It's a barley wine. And I said, why is it King Elizabeth? And they said that Elizabeth was a cat that they saved from a shelter. And they said, this is a girl cat named Elizabeth. They found out after it lived in the brewery for like a year that it was a boy cat. So it is King Elizabeth. And it's a barley wine. Emperor of the production facility in the Bronx. Regal and noble. One of his eyes doesn't work, and it's mostly closed. Pay your respects to the king. I will say, this looks like the stool sample in Austin Powers 1.
It does look just like it.
I was noticing something like that.
It is a unfortunate color, but yes, it's a barley wine. This is King Elizabeth. Shout out to Torch and Crown. Beautiful tap room. It was wonderful talking with your bartenders.
Cheers.
You guys are killing it. I imagine your beer tastes very good.
Oh,
Now Brad,
That is
you have some Pokemon in there that are from like Gen 7.
I had a thing where my buddy Addie and we would be hungover on Saturdays, and we would
Just get Pokemon cards.
we would just go buy a pack of Pokemon cards and make ourselves feel better.
That's fair.
Did it cure the hangover?
A little bit. Number 6.
That's what I do with One Piece cards.
Number 6. What remains of Edith Finch?
Yep. That was one of the choices for indie games.
Yeah.
A month. The first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, back in the day.
That would have been 2020.
What a banger set of indie games.
Oh my god.
So we had Edith Finch, Kentucky Route Zero, Nex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
We had Cinemora, Undertale, which I do like Undertale, even though you don't like Undertale.
I'm not huge on it.
But What Remains of Edith Finch is a perfect small game.
It's perfect for what it is.
You know, some games artificially increase their length and they add extra things that don't matter and just prolong the experience. Edith Finch knows what it is and is just a perfectly designed story.
Was that Annapurna?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I love that game. Very rich, emotional storytelling, a lot of surprises. It's all about you as the player delving into this family's history, like their supposedly cursed history. And
how much of it is a true curse? How much of it is a self-fulfilling prophecy where one crazy grandma trying to make a legacy of we're cursed?
Yep.
Every single character in that family, their story is told in a different interactive way.
It's a tale of hubris. It's a tale of self-discovery in terms of what family is and the people around you and how you deal with that.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because
what remains of Bradley Ward?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what my family's stories would all be. But the first, it starts slow, and walking simulators are a hard sell for me.
Yeah. But I pushed it.
They're a dime a dozen.
Yep.
And unless you're exemplary, unless you're excelling, it won't work for me.
I know, me too.
And it's when it's the young girl that passed away.
The little girl, yeah.
She didn't finish her dinner, and they locked her in the room, and she wound up eating
some sort of poisonous
some
berry.
Christmas berries. I forget what they are.
It's something deeply poisonous.
And you're experiencing all of these family members' last moments in their lives, or what they cared about and why they died. And it's just a child getting poisoned and having like visions of death and turning into sharks and snakes and stuff. Ugh.
It's insane.
Bathtub. That's all I'll say. We won't spoil the bathtub.
Bathtub.
Oh my God.
I cried.
And it's a beautiful moment too, because it's like the song.
Oh yeah.
And it's so effective at portraying heartbreak.
Yeah.
Because after that scene, you just get a letter like, nothing
will ever change
this. This won't fix this. Nothing can.
Oh.
And it's such a great metaphor for family too. Like you're stacking problems on problems, but also they're building the house up for new family members. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
It's wonderful. I couldn't speak of this more highly in terms of writing, but how writing intersects with gameplay, that is awesome. You got the swings where you have to pretend you're swinging on a swing.
Yeah, and then
we've got the picture take.
But the grandma also, she's like, someone dies, and she's like, they went all the way around the swing. Yeah. It's like, maybe you shouldn't have a swing set hanging over a cliff.
It's kind of a big fish thing.
Yep. Make the tail bigger. Make it more epic. No one can just die from a simple thing.
No one actually flew too far in a thunderstorm and died.
The Scream Queen and the horror comic tale. I love it.
Barbara.
And she couldn't scream like she used to.
Yeah.
Check out What Remains. It's only 4-5 hours. Check out What Remains of Edith Finch.
It's truly a masterpiece of visual game storytelling. It fits the bill.
And back into the Tyler show.
Uh-oh.
Hades. Number 5.
Yeah.
I went and saw Hades Town on Broadway, and Zagreus was not in it.
That sucks.
That's lame.
0 out of 10.
It sucks because he's so hot. They couldn't even find someone good.
Dude, Hades is the only roguelike I've ever finished.
Hades is a brilliant video game. I got it the moment it dropped on the Nintendo Switch in 2020. That game is
such a Switch game, man.
That game is such a rip-roaring good time. I must have put 85 hours into it, something like that.
Easy. I bought it physical for, I think, all 3 consoles.
Yeah. I did not. It's not a game that I would typically play ever.
Yeah.
Top-down roguelike. I fell in love with it immediately because the soundtrack is bumping. Mm-hmm. The art design is fantastic. The combat is silky smooth. But you know what really surprised me, and I think what put it over the mountain for me, was the interpersonal relationships between Zag and the rest of the deities and the gods that you interact with.
Absolutely.
I did not expect such deep and rich storytelling with these people's relationship in Hades. I really found myself starting to care for some of these characters and wanting to finish their storylines and understand what their struggles were and how they were going to overcome them. Yeah. It's a deeply personal game once you get really into the thick of it.
It's so effective at, I mean, for a roguelike to hold the carrot in front of you to keep going. So it's a roguelike in a sense that every run is different. You know, you're getting different boons from different gods. You're getting different rooms and opportunities. I really want to go to, what is it, like the Chaos Extra Under room where it makes things tougher, but you get a boon if you complete it. But you don't get it every time.
No.
And what it does so well is it's not only a roguelike, but it's also one continuous through line. So it's still Zag. It's just one story of Zag going through it that many times, but he comes back. You have to talk to everyone again. You go pet your Cerberus. And it's so great advancing all the character storylines, like you said, but also it's moving the story along. You beat it once, and you have to beat it 9 more times then to get all of Hades. And then after that, like, there's still more to do. There's still more to do. It's great at giving you motivation to keep playing, and that to its addictive detriment sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot where I'm like, well, I just want to see what my next boon would be for the start of a run, and then I'm in another run.
Well, that's the crack of it. That's why Balatro has become a problem for you, because it's randomized.
It's a roguelike.
You like the
Balatro is just a roguelike.
Yeah, it is. It's a deck building roguelike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boyo. Yeah, just a Skelly.
Skelly is so good.
And Medusa. God bless you, Medusa. We love you, sweet little lady.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. We cannot recommend it highly enough. I've recommended it to my brother 1,000 times, and he's the same way as me. He plays very single player, story driven, realistic games, or sports games. That's kind of what we grew up playing, and it's hard to break from that mold. And I've recommended it 1,000 times because he is just like me. You'll love it, I guarantee it, and he just hasn't gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm. This implements something that I wish longer games would have a version of, where so many games, it's like a 60-hour plus experience where you have to invest into a build or this weapon or this type. And I wish that they would just have like a mini roguelike dungeon mode where you could try these different builds, because what's so fun about Hades is not only the different weapons, but every boon you get, you start building up a new type of like, damn, this is the best spear build I've ever got, or this is like this works for the shield so well.
Like, oh, these are all based on like radial attacks, so I'm constantly finding enemies killing themselves trying to kill me. Like, all that shit just rules.
It's so good.
Dash, and your dash is like a thunderbolt. It's just so intriguing and interesting, and the depth of it. Now, I've been a Supergiant fan for a very long time. Bastion used to be like one of my favorite games.
I never played it.
It slipped to the wayside. It's a very good video game still. The game they made before this was Spire, which was a sports game, but for all intents and purposes.
A roguelike sports game?
No, it's a story-based like sports game.
Tyler, you have a new assignment.
I know.
But it takes place in this like mythical land where you're doing these tournaments for very solid like religious reasons.
Oh my God, it's getting so much better.
And it's very good, and I always loved it. And then when Hades was announced, and I was very cautious about early access early on, because I'm like, well,
I'll just play it.
Now they're just, I would rather just play the finished game. Frankly, Hades 2,
I still haven't.
Someone who has played it.
I've never opened it still.
That's okay. That's okay. It's very fucking good. It's fucking awesome. I have played probably 50 hours of it. And I am telling you, when the final thing comes out, it's basically going to be what this is. When they say early access for a game like this, they've already got the bones down. Hades 1 exists. You've got the bones.
Yeah.
And now all they're going to add is shit that adds depth.
All the fleshy parts.
And so now when it's done, I can play it on a Steam Deck. It's going to look better than the fucking Switch. So, you know.
We have 4 more games.
Yeah.
Can you guess them?
Okay,
I have no idea. I think Kentucky Route Zero will probably be on the list.
Yes.
Or Disco Elysium.
Kentucky Route Zero is on the list.
Disco Elysium is not. It is in the top 20.
Yes.
Number 4, Baldur's Gate 3.
Excellent.
Hey.
We just ranked it.
We just did a 4-episode series. If you're listening to this in the main feed, Acts 2 and 3 are on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/HairTheDogcast. Free trial. We'll get you the other 2 episodes. Baldur's Gate 3. We did just gush on it a lot.
We did. It's really hard to talk further in depth about it, and it's a game I actually am kind of going back to. I play maybe like twice a week, but it's not something I'm like anxious to keep doing the same way when I first started playing it.
Yeah. Combat is complicated and fun. Mm-hmm. It's so many possibilities, an infinite amount of possibilities, story-wise, combat-wise. You can go full evil. You can go full good. You can choose to kill all your people. You can choose to save every enemy. You can become an enemy. You can take the MacGuffin and throw it off into the ocean.
Yep.
And they will make it work.
They will do it. It's just insane. What an undertaking. They're like, oh, our next game will release in like 2028. I'm like, good. Take your time.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You've earned some goodwill.
I think you're doing okay.
And if you want more Baldur's Gate 3 talk, just check out our previous couple episodes of Raw Dogs and get on Patreon.
I think we got it all out in that.
Number 3, a game we've already talked about this episode. Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
I have been getting the itch to play Death Stranding again.
I might download it tonight.
I'm thinking about it.
I want to play it again so bad.
I know. I think I might just do it.
It was funny. We had Julian here for the Baldur's Gate 3 episode, and we were ranting about Death Stranding. He's like,
what the fuck?
The walking game?
Yeah.
And
we were just like, nope. Mm-hmm.
It took me a while, though, too. And Death Stranding, what a vibe.
What a vibe.
I mean, as somebody who has gone on like 4 or 5 day hikes, I get it. And I think that's kind of one of the itches that this works for me. And it is also, there's such a rewarding feeling when you make something and it becomes part of your path. So you have to eventually, I wanted to deliver everything to everybody and max out relationships. So there are certain spots where you make roads, but there are other spots where you have to like go off-road or make a bridge across or put ladders that you have to walk across.
Zip lines.
Everything was zip lines by the end.
That was my favorite part, was carving out that first path and then realizing a path that works and then having to come back through it with more resources. And you're like, all right, well, I can make this easier now.
Now you've got bola guns. Now you've got piss bombs. You've got ship bombs. You've got everything that the BTs hate.
Once I got all of the zip lines done up on the mountain,
it was over.
It felt so good.
I know.
Because that mountain navigating up there was absolute hell.
Because you had to go all the way around.
And you know what's weird? I know when I go back to play it another time, things that other people had made that I relied on and was a part of my experience will not be there. Yeah. There'll be things in different spots. And that's going to fuck me up a little bit.
It is truly what he defines as a Strand game. And to explain that to someone who hasn't experienced it, it's another one of those examples where it's like, he's like, no, we're just going to do what I say, and having it work out pretty damn flawlessly, I would argue, is kind of insane.
Good. He has such good judgment character-wise, like decisions on what the characters say and do. It always is unpredictable, but it always falls in line to the core idea. I guess what's important is that he knows what he's making, and all of his decisions become based on that. I forget the name of the director. I think he's maybe Swedish, that he plays one of the characters, the skinny, tall guy that falls asleep randomly. Hartman. Yeah. He said that for the character of Norman Reedus,
Sam,
the dream guy. Who's the dream guy?
Oh my God, Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. I don't want to say the relationship.
Yeah.
He said Mads Mikkelsen, he didn't think he was the right choice. He suggested Keanu Reeves. And Kojima,
I think
Kojima was super close to putting Keanu Reeves in that role, but he stuck with his guns. He's like, I thought Mads Mikkelsen and Mads Mikkelsen.
I think Mads Mikkelsen is very good in this.
I think either would have been fine, but I trust if Kojima. Also, when Kojima makes a post about a movie, like that Hitman movie, he wrote like 2 paragraphs on why it was so good. He watched it on an airplane. That isn't the best recommendation. That's like you recommending a video game. When Kojima says that a movie has value.
Well, you should be playing Unicorn Overlord, so
I agree.
It could reach the top 10, I think.
Yeah. And then when Kojima just posts a picture of the Madam Web poster and doesn't say anything, that's a review as well.
That's true.
He says everything he sees, but he won't write anything about it sometimes.
Don't say my name 3 times.
What do you mean? I can see the future, Hideo?
Oh, my God. That movie.
Yeah. Death Stranding.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight.
I will be downloading Death Stranding.
We should do a whole nother episode on Death Stranding 1.
Oh, we could.
I'm in.
I'm down.
I'd do it.
Number 2, Kentucky Route Zero.
A game that became very important to us at a very pivotal point in our lives.
On paper, it should not work for me.
No, it shouldn't work for me either.
On paper, it shouldn't work for anyone.
No.
It is the most obscure, weird art shit that's ever happened to a video game.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
It rewrote my DNA.
It did.
That's high praise.
It is.
You will feel depressed after playing this game.
You
Depressed but hopeful.
You played it very differently than me. It is it's like the death of America told through like Americana. Mm-hmm. It is the
fantasy. It's sort of fantasy realism.
It's the selling
with
of your
folklore.
It's how we sell our souls to capitalism and fall victim to addiction.
Yeah.
Through folk music. You played it very differently than me.
I sure did. I had it on PC.
Well, so Kentucky Route Zero was released there's 5 chapters plus an epilogue, I want to say.
The last chapter took a long time to finish.
Was that the whole thing was released over 6 or 7 years?
It started in 2013.
Yeah.
So we got it in 2020.
It's very weird to hear that.
I had always wanted to play it. Everyone spoke highly of it. It's something I couldn't touch because I was always too poor to afford something that could play it. And then I got a secondhand PC. Shout out
and
Tyler.
you know what's funny is that this could be played on a refrigerator.
Yeah. Well,
get the Switch version. The Switch version is as good as the Xbox
TV
version.
edition. It's great. I would say that this game, above anything else, I would say it is literature in video game form.
Disagree.
I would say it has the feel of a work of literature.
Literature is too limiting. This is
fair enough.
This is all art.
Yeah.
This is the and it's not like the best example of video games as art, but it's an example of the power of art. Like, it doesn't always utilize the video game storytelling possibilities, but
there aren't really choices you make.
But it is. You're right, though, that it's literature, but it's also stage play. It's very much about the writing.
Yeah.
But you also have to make the decision to sell your soul.
Mm-hmm. And you're forced to.
And it's like all of a sudden it gets dark.
Yeah.
And there's you get that tunnel vision thing going on. And then your leg is broken the rest of your life. You can just see your little skeleton leg because.
And you're just waiting to die at that point.
It's the cost of capitalism.
Yeah. I could spout endlessly about how this game is the most American video game ever made. This is a game. This is a game about what it means to live in America. This is a game about what it means to deal with the everyday life, especially rural America. This is more about them than anything else, which is ironic because nobody from rural America is going to find this all that fun.
No, they want to just
they want to shoot shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
But and what a lot of people don't know about this game, I've even listened to other podcasts discuss this game, and they don't mention that the interquels between chapters were all real life art installations that people could go and see.
Yep.
And it's a place and time,
It's kind of amazing because Act 1 released in 2013, and I remember reading about it on IGN, and in IGN they were saying things like, hey, this kind of intersects a little bit more than what video games are, and I almost feel unqualified to deal with something like this.
Unless you're a real art major, not I'm an art major. You have to be somebody that's like someone that studies like art history and has a perspective on all forms of art.
Right.
It's sad.
It's deeply, there is like a hopeful bent to it. And the hopeful bent stems from the idea that you can find people around you who are going to know and understand all the same things that are happening to you as well. And you find some sort of, it's almost as if the spirituality of America remains the most prominent aspect, where your neighbors are the people who you should trust, and getting to know them is the most important thing you can do.
It's Too Late to Love You Now.
Yeah.
That song, whenever it comes on my Spotify, immediately
breaks you down.
Makes my day, though, too. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, shit. Nothing else really matters. It puts me at ease and also just makes me transcend.
Yeah. I would argue it's almost Buddhist in its quality. It knows that pain and suffering is inevitable, but it portrays that in a way that is hopeful because everyone else is feeling that exact same pain.
Our number one game, Kingdom Hearts 3.
We love it. We love Frozen. We love Frozen, and I liked watching an extended sequence of Let It Go.
My only problem, not enough Frozen.
Honestly,
if it was all Frozen, I would have given this a number 1 again.
Those snowscape mountains, man, if I could just see more white. Just as far as the eye can see, sometimes there's a tree.
When Joshua Gad's like, I'm over here.
Joshua Gad.
He's the voice of the
no one calls him Joshua.
Him and I go back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Joshy.
Hey, Josh, for listening. What's up?
I call him JoJo.
Yep. I call him Joshy Hollandaise. He doesn't get
Joshy.
it. He doesn't get it.
It's an inside joke.
Number 1 is Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I should have saw that coming.
Yeah.
Bloodborne
was a New Year's challenge. Now,
for you, yeah.
We used to, back in the show, we would give New Year's challenges to you, me, Josh, and Tom. And I was the only one that did all of them.
Because the punishment was drinking beer I might have drank anyway.
Well, it's not about the punishment. It's about somebody challenging you.
The spirit. Oh, yeah, I didn't care.
Well,
I'm not super competitive.
My challenges were all good. My challenge was to beat Father Gascoigne. I don't know if that was you or Tom that gave that to me.
That was me.
I had never played a Souls-like. Never played Dark Souls. And Bloodborne is the perfect, almost the perfect intersection. Elden Ring,
it is
possibly a little bit more because I'm a big George R. R. Martin guy. But Bloodborne is, it starts off as a horror Souls game about werewolves and about an infection, and that's all I needed. Like that would be enough. Difficult
great on its own, yeah.
Rewarding gameplay that you play good, you do good. If you play like an idiot, I'm calling you out, Kingdom Hearts. But in this game,
you didn't use the Disney rides enough.
I was thinking about them today playing Final Fantasy 12.
Weren't you?
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I struggled so much with the first hour of Bloodborne, where I thought it was difficult and I don't want to say unfair, but
you did think it was unfair.
I didn't think it was I thought it was unfun. I thought it was needlessly mean until I rewrote how I played games in my brain, and I actually just started like,
It takes a click.
I need to think about everything.
You got the 2 Lego pieces together, but it was a little difficult to make it happen.
I actually have to read enemies and plan about what I'm going to do instead of just running in and doing stupid button tapping bullshit.
Yeah.
Bloodborne, I did not do well for my first 3 hours.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
The cleric beast, that's the bridge, right?
Yeah. The first obstacle.
And that one's an optional obstacle. You don't have
Which
to
I
beat
never
it.
even realized because I thought it wasn't.
And that was intense enough. Fuck. Just getting to another lantern was a massive victory.
What a reward, too.
But Father Gascoigne,
something else.
once that happened and I beat it and I got to the next area, I was lost. I was done. I was forever.
You were free technically, but
I was sold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How far have you gotten in Bloodborne, Tyler?
The cleric.
Oh, you haven't
That's
gotten
it?
that far.
Yeah.
That's
well,
okay.
The first time I ever played it, I totally agree with Brad. I thought it was needlessly difficult and
it's bad,
unfair.
It's got a bad opening, and I will say that about Bloodborne.
I also did not play it close to launch, so I was a little spoiled. It's not the prettiest looking game anymore.
I still think it looks pretty good.
Well,
I'm with Tyler. It
It's a
does
little-
not look good anymore.
Really?
It's
No.
strapped on the PlayStation 4. It got the jaggies in a bad way.
yeah.
It was 2015.
Yeah. They need I hope that one of the reasons I want to get a PS5 Pro is the AI driven upscaling because it might make Bloodborne look a lot better. But
It is a little janky too, for at least I feel it is.
you're talking about graphics, right?
No, he's talking about
Because
gameplay.
gameplay is not janky.
I thought it was janky, but I'm coming from Elden Ring.
Okay,
I played
well,
I played a good deal of Elden Ring. Well, I played Bloodborne first for a little bit, and like I said, I agree. I thought it was needlessly difficult and mean.
oh, you would hate Dark Souls.
I just
absolutely despise
I did not get it. And then
They're very, I'd say like Elden Ring and Bloodborne and Dark Souls, the gameplay is all very similar, except in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, 3 hits kills you outright.
Elden Ring is less. So Elden Ring is more forgiving.
You can take more hits.
oh yeah.
In Dark Souls and the other ones, you cannot afford to get hit.
They don't give you crutches.
They do not.
You get in Sekiro.
Sekiro,
They don't. They take away your crutches and then they stab you in the gut, and they're
Yeah.
like, "All right, good luck, dude."
there were some runs in Sekiro where leading up to that final boss, which I knew I probably was never going to defeat, I was just like, I just want to beat the bosses I can. And I know that it's a matter of concentration, but I have fucking ADD and I'm fucking untreated, man. I get distracted very easily. So like there's shit I know I just couldn't do unless I really spent a lot of time. And having that level of frustration wasn't worth it to me. Bloodborne, I could easily do.
When I came back after playing a healthy dose of Elden Ring, because I realized I do like From Software. Elden Ring was the click for me where I kind of understood like, oh, you can't just run in and
Right.
button mash your way through this. I experienced that in Elden Ring, so I went back to Bloodborne, and it was like playing a totally new game. I wouldn't say it was easy, but compared to my first,
You were ready. You
I
were
was
prepared.
Unfortunately, I think I was a little From Software out after my first jaunt through Elden Ring. So
Sure.
We have been talking about it for over 70 hours.
yeah, I just didn't want anything to do with From Software for a minute. I still have Dark Souls remastered sitting on the shelf in the plastic. I haven't even taken it out.
Bloodborne.
You would love what Dark Souls is.
Yeah.
You might not like how it plays because Dark Souls is all about deliberate dungeon crawling. It is not about how quickly you can do things. It's about almost survival horror. I've described Dark Souls as survival horror.
I think all FromSoft games are survival horror.
To some degree, yeah.
Yeah, they just have a different tone about them.
Yep.
Bloodborne, it takes a turn. So you get through the first part, and then when you get towards Vicar Amelia,
Once you get to that church, everything kind of changes.
after you defeat Vicar Amelia,
Yeah.
and you get that speech about fear the old blood. That got you there.
Well, I get that.
Well, and then you go back to like old Yarnum, and you learn that like this
The machine gun guy.
they just cut this whole part of the city off and like burnt it because something was going wrong. But eventually you learn it wasn't just like werewolf blood. It's old gods. It's an alien force.
yeah.
And this is my horror. Like this
Me too.
if you wrote a perfect horror movie, it would be the plot of Bloodborne. You couldn't make don't make a Netflix series. If there was a limited series of Bloodborne that did a good job, I would be about it.
I would trust an anime.
Martyr Ligarius, when you take that chariot across the sea, it's like if Castlevania was a 3D perfect like game.
Yeah,
just like assembling ascending a castle and then just a dude wearing a crown that was like just guarding an evil vampire witch behind him. I can't handle it. And then but Bloodborne's mean. Okay,
Bloodborne's mean.
Those run-ups, when you run,
they're long.
When you run 50 seconds past 30 enemies to get to the boss to die in 3 seconds, and you do it,
he's got a big flaming wheel that he attacks you with.
I think the Orphan of Kos might be the worst run-up.
Orphan of Kos is really extremely rough. I eventually had it down pat where I didn't have to think about dodging enemies on the way.
Yeah.
But once you get to that beach, every bit of that anxiety would just return. I love,
and you can do just like when you get past the first phase, or when you like it gets to a quarter health. There's nothing like the way your heart starts racing.
You're like,
in that moment.
No, you're just like, no. And then you slip up.
Most video games do not get my adrenaline.
No.
These games, like, always.
Pit sweat. The amount of pit sweat I've had in the Orphan of Kos is the most I've ever had in a video game. And I remember sitting there and my ex being like, you got to calm down. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm never going to stop. I'll do it.
Miyazaki is one of the great.
He's great.
One of the greatest video game creators. The fact that he is now like leading the company, but he chooses to just be on the floor with the developers.
Good. Smart.
Trust him. I trust him so much. And would you put Dark Souls, any of the Dark Souls games above Bloodborne for you?
Dark Souls 1, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like this ranking of 10 games is what we have talked about and where we rank them collectively.
That's fine. And honestly, Bloodborne does deserve the spot. And I'm going to be honest with everyone here. When I first played it in 2015, I was kind of like, well, what the fuck? I wanted like cool fantasy shit. What the fuck's the deal?
But then you got Elden Ring and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, the gameplay's a little more limited in Bloodborne. But it's more focused on the combat, which I didn't realize was going to be the bigger part of it. Exploration is less so in Bloodborne, but huge in Dark Souls.
The interconnected world of Bloodborne still keeps me up at night.
It's great.
When I think about how this leads to that, or you're way down into that one.
Have you ever seen the 3D map printed out of the map of Dark Souls? Because it's all one cylinder that moves with an offshoot.
There's a video for Elden Ring where it's the sewers under Leyndell, and it's impossible to explain. Yeah. And some guy actually just like runs water through it. He made a 3D model and runs water and how like it would flow. I was like, thank God, I get it now.
I never liked that part of the game.
Well, it is the most frustrating dungeon.
Oh yeah, certainly.
For sure.
Well, those rats alone,
Bloodborne, I think if there was a Venn diagram of you and me, Dylan, of games that work for us. Yeah. I'm not sure how you would fit in with that, Tyler. What is your favorite game out of these top 10 that we mentioned?
Hades.
Hades, okay.
Yeah, Hades.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, because I did join the podcast quite a bit after you guys have been going.
That's fine.
Before we revisit any of these games, we can't do it until Tyler's played them. Then we can do if you play Kentucky Route Zero, we'll do a new Kentucky Route Zero episode.
We literally will. Okay. I have no problem.
Yeah, but okay. Sorry.
Well, two things then. One, my favorite game of all time, no surprise, is The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think if we did an episode on that, it would land in your top 10? Do you think it would crack it?
No.
It wouldn't land, no.
I think I would love it.
I think it'd be great.
I
played it.
You've played it.
I played it all the way through, yeah.
Did you play it?
There's this list I have of games that I know that will take me over and I would obsess with and beat to completion. That is at the back of my head, like scratching my brain.
Yeah.
Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption.
God.
And then
Red Dead 2
also
specifically for me.
Alan Wake and Silent Hill.
Alan Wake 2 specifically.
Those are games that I know when I play them, I'll become obsessed, and they will come. But
they'll show up.
I don't think there's anything to beat in this top 10. Like Elden Ring would make it in the top 10. I would personally remove Persona 5 and put Elden Ring in there. Pokemon Red might not make it as high for me.
No. But that's one of the first ones, and it's hard to beat in a,
In the
1v1.
I think Elden Ring gets in there. I can't guarantee anything else off the top of my head.
Once you play Red Dead Redemption 2, I bet you that makes it in there.
I don't think so.
Can I say that Unicorn Overlord might break the top 10?
So which one should I play first?
Of what?
What Remains of Edith Finch? Because it's 4 hours.
Finch is good.
It's a snack. And Kentucky Route Zero, because you are a film major and you will appreciate it.
I think I'm going to play Kentucky Route Zero first.
Play it.
Get stoned out of your fucking mind and play it at night.
Yeah.
That's going to have to wait till November then.
Oh. It's a dry October?
Sober.
It is
October.
completely sober. Apart from nicotine.
Sober is alcohol to me.
See, and I thought about drawing that line.
But you said, except for nicotine, so it's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Remember when Nate tried to give up booze and coffee at the same time?
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, Nate's an insane man.
He is.
Yeah. So
He's actually kind of insane.
He knows a lot about maritime tragedies, though, I found out recently
That's
Really?
awesome.
at trivia.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you want to hear our bottom 5 games, you'll have to get to Patreon because we're going to talk about it on Doggies After Dark right now.
Oh, we're doing it.
nice.
We're going to do it, but it's a Doggies After Dark episode. And thank you for 150 episodes. Thank you to Tom and Josh for the first 100 episodes. Tom
I think so.
did all of the posting, and Josh did all of the mosting.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we love those guys very much, and they started this show, and we wouldn't be here without them. So thanks to Tom and Josh and
The Podfathers.
the Podfathers.
Yeah.
If you want access to our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Hair of the Dogcast. The Doggies After Dark episode we're doing, that'll be the executive producer tier, so that's a $10 tier. But if you want access to all of our extra Baldur's Gate 3 episodes, to everything else, check out the free trial. Mm-hmm. That'll get you instant access to everything. We'd love to have you there. And special thanks to our executive producers. We wouldn't be doing this show still. I mean, we love doing this, but it's because of our listeners and our supporters that we continue. So thanks to our executive producers, Ryan Christianick, Kip Kipper, Brian Ward, Jordan Hoff, Phil Wright, Phil Just Phil, Kelly Gutowski, Justin Melly, Imagine Wagon, 69420, and Bryant Ross. We appreciate you guys so much.
We do.
Thank you.
And thanks to everyone else. Write reviews if you can. And here's to another 150.
Spread the Dogcast.
Spread it. Spread them wide.
Spread it like butter on hot bread.
Put it in your mouth. And then your ears.
Add some jelly if you want.
If you want to.
I mean, it's really your prerogative.